Choice for Norman plantation shutters. Those are beautiful. Call Michael Proctor today and schedule your in-home consultation with Michael's mobile design unit. He will come to you. Weekend and evening appointments are available. The one-on-one appointment with Michael will ensure the look is exactly what you're looking for in your home or business. So cut down on the risk of error. Schedule your appointment today with Michael Proctor. Proctor spelled like doctor, proctordrapery.com.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose. Let me straddle my old saddle underneath the western skies. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I want to ride to the ridge where the west commences. Gaze at the moon until I lose my senses. I can't look at hovels and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in. 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 Don't fence me in.
What's up, everybody, and happy Friday to all of you. The calltammy.com real estate listener line is 844-855-1380. Did you see the rally last night in Grand Rapids? I told you that was going to be a gas. I told you that was going to be fun, and President Trump, of course, did not disappoint. We've got that going for us. I've got all the details of that. Got the Adam Schiff continuing controversy there. Got the news regarding John Brennan. And the news we're getting that Mr. Brennan apparently was more involved in this situation regarding the dossier and the attempted Trump takedown than people are admitting, or that he's actually admitting. And I told you a while back that Brennan was dirty as the day is long, and a lot of it was easy to figure out because somebody who is that voraciously anti-Trump and so openly so, almost to the point where you can tell that he's got a level of desperation that is very evident and very obvious. If that's the case, yeah, we pretty much get it. There's something this guy's hiding or trying to cover up or compensating for or something. And that's pretty typically what John Brennan looks like when he's on the air huffing and puffing about President Trump and about treason and that kind of thing. So it was pretty obvious at the time that Brennan was part of this cabal. Clapper, Brennan, and keep in mind, these were all employees of Barack Obama. And so Obama is not culpable here. He's a person who should not get away with what just happened under his watch. And if this idea that somehow Obama didn't know that all of this was going on is almost ridiculous and implausible, to say the least. And I think the president ought to pursue this with gusto and pursue it from the standpoint of the Attorney General's office and beyond looking into this. I think there ought to be subpoenas. I think there ought to be hearings. And I don't know whether you really need hearings as much as you do just subpoenas and start to put these people under the hot lights and figure out what the hell is going on. And believe me, I have zero question this is going to come back to roost in Obama's little cave there. And as far as I'm concerned, he knew what was going on. He knew what was happening. And Brennan and Clapper, man, these guys, this is just wrong. And Karl Rove, who wrote the editorial in the Wall Street Journal yesterday morning, pretty much it was inexplicable what Karl Rove was doing there. Just out of the blue, he has an editorial in the Wall Street Journal telling the president that he needs to kind of forget about everything and move on. Does that sound like the Republicans we've known for 20 plus years? You're damn right it does. A bunch of weak-kneed, pansied, candy rear-end Republicans who don't fight for anything. We've already had to deal with the Republicans who haven't fought for our border. We already had to deal with the Republicans who can't fight against sanctuary cities, who won't fight for the end of public funding of Planned Parenthood. That whole thing is really interesting. How yesterday President Trump, by the way, and I'll divert a little bit here, but I found it interesting. President Trump went ahead and overrode, if that's the story. I'm not quite sure that's really a story, but President Trump came in like the White Knight and overrode the Betsy DeVos and the others' desire to defund the Special Olympics. And, of course, it's only about 10% of the Special Olympics budget. I completely supported the end of funding for the Special Olympics, but also for the other programs. I don't even know why we're even involved in funding charities. Doesn't make any sense. Somebody brought up yesterday the Jack Nicklaus Foundation or whatever, some kind of foundation. The U.S. government has no business being involved in any of this stuff. And the Special Olympics is a great brand. It is a very profitable and absolutely wonderful institution, so to speak. It's a great thing ongoing for half a century. It's really amazing. But it's so amazing that 90% of its funding comes from private sources. And there's no reason why 100% of its funding shouldn't come from private sources. If it's that amazing, they could certainly take it upon themselves to fund it themselves, as this Jack Nicklaus Foundation and all this other garbage that we're promoting. They can do a lot of that by themselves. But anyway, President Trump came in like the White Knight and overrode Betsy DeVos and the others and said that, hey, I'm going to go ahead and fund this. I'm going to keep the funding in there. So President Trump looked good after all that. And the administration looked a little bit discombobulated and disheveled, having went out and conducted the announcement and then also went through hearings and that kind of thing, and then only to have the president say, oh, never mind. That's kind of seemed odd to me. But I'm glad the president's looking good out of it all, but I still think that the wise decision was to go ahead and yank the funding if you're going to start saving money. And that's the problem we have. Is it's interesting how nobody bitches about us funding an operation that kills babies, but no one thinks that that's a bad thing. Everybody thinks that's actually any attempts to cut or funding to Planned Parenthood is terrible. So at least the left wing are consistent. They even in their inconsistency, that they want the government just basically to fund all of their little pet projects, whether it be their killing baby projects like Planned Parenthood or the Special Olympics. And Phil pointed out yesterday, the caller pointed out yesterday, I thought it was a great point, that it's funny how had any of these Special Olympians been ID'd by the infanticide promoting Democrats before they were actually born, they wouldn't have even been alive to be in the Special Olympics. These people who, well, a governor can come out and talk about killing babies after they're born, and everybody's ho-hum until, of course, he's found to be in blackface. Then that becomes an issue. These people are soulless, they're terrible. It's unbelievable. But nonetheless, Republicans don't fight for anything. Our own Roy Blunt, who votes against the president's plan to announce a state of emergency, or actually to follow through on the state of emergency. You can't rely on these guys, these 12 Republicans who voted against the state of emergency. I mean, and again, Rand Paul is, I guess, one of the more defensible elements because at least he's consistent. But these other guys. So it's about time we kept fighting. We kept this train rolling. We keep the screws tightened on these people. And Adam Schiff and all these guys need to be held accountable. Somebody needs to follow up on this. We can't have another situation where we just let this go. And where we just let these people do what they did. This was a plot to overthrow the President of the United States. And it needs to be taken care of. The president basically laying it out there yesterday at the Grand Rapids rally. It was a great rally, lots of people. It's too bad we can't get the chant going. Instead of lock her up, lock them up. Because these people all ought to be in a Nuremberg style tribunal. I want to see Brennan and Clapper and Obozo and Comey and Lisa Page and Strzok and Schiff and countless other people who plotted to overthrow the government. Even if we have to dig John McCain back up again and put him out there, just prop his casket up in the pew there. By the way, Lindsey Graham has something to say about John McCain. They were. Everybody wants to rely on Lindsey Graham to attack Republicans who disagree with John McCain, and he finally told an anchor to stop doing that. Stop making this always me, the guy who has to always go after the Republicans and defend John McCain. I'm not doing that anymore. So anyway, we'll follow up on that as well because Lindsey Graham was good. Also, yesterday we'll follow up on the opening day, which I thought was great. Cardinals had like a 3-0 lead and blew it, but lots of home runs. Colton Wong hit 2 home runs, and Bader hit a home run, and then the Milwaukee Brewers, Kane, the outfielder, just absolutely just robbed the tying run from the Cardinals. But I thought it was a good game. I thought the Cardinals really looked good. So we'll follow up on that too. Your phone calls are welcome as well. Call Tammy.com. Real estate listener line is 844-855-1380. President Trump from yesterday. Here you go. Check it out. Come on now. In Grand Rapids. I'm trying to get him to play here. Can't get my media player to play. Hold on. Sorry, people. My media player isn't playing. President Trump kind of cussed during this thing. Did you see that? And actually, Fox News had it last night, and they didn't even bleep it out. We're bleeping it out though.
Democrats have to now decide whether they will continue defrauding the public with ridiculous bullshit.
He said the whole thing there, man.
Partisan investigations, or whether they will apologize to the American people and join us to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure, bring down the cost of health care and prescription drugs, which we're doing incredibly, help us fix our broken trade deals.
Yeah, so it was people were all over that. And now, by the way, though, did you see?
This is a ticket stop.
All right, sorry. Did you see that the Donald Trump Jr. was out there as well? And Donald Trump Jr. went after Ocasio-Cortez and they also and he also went after Michael Avenatti, and the Trump crowd actually was chanting against Ocasio-Cortez, which was pretty interesting. And it was sometimes people might say, well, that didn't come across very well when they chanted that, but I don't know. Why are we kid gloving these people? I understand that sometimes, well, 2 wrongs don't make a right and blah, blah, blah. But why are we kid gloving these people who are calling the president a racist and a bigot, calling for his impeachment, calling for the invocation of the 25th Amendment. Why are we worried about certain chants and that kind of thing? People were very upset, some of the on the left, that the crowd was chanting AOC sucks. They weren't lying.
Think about the fact that every mainstream leading Democratic contender is taking the advice of a freshman congresswoman who 3 weeks ago didn't know the three branches of government. I don't know about you guys, but that's pretty scary.
AOC sucks. The boisterous crowd there in Grand Rapids.
Guys, you're not very nice. And neither is what that policy would do to this country.
Yeah. And neither are the words coming out of the mouths of most of these politicians out there. Keep in mind, they have spent the latter part of 2.5 years calling your president a traitor and accusing him of treason. And AOC and the rest of the gang have all been part of that as well. So I wouldn't necessarily be the one chanting AOC sucks, but you can tell that there are people who are out there who are not very happy with what the Democrats have done and what the media has done to prop them up. So people are a little tired of that. You can tell people are a little bit edgy about the whole thing, and you can hardly blame them. All right, your phone calls are welcome. 844-855-1380 is the call. Tammy.com real estate listener line. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem live from the Arrowhead Building Supply Studios. From the Arrowhead Building Supply Studio, this is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Not much change in our roads at this hour. That means no accidents and no delays. One closure still in Alton. 67 southbound is shut down between the Clark Bridge and 94 because of flooding. The two northbound lanes of 67 are split into one northbound lane and one southbound. The flood warning along the Mississippi River continues until further notice. We do have construction. Your on-ramp from Broadway to westbound 6440 closed with roadwork until April 3rd. And 141 southbound from 6440 east of 44, roadwork until 2:30. Traffic is sponsored by Dell. Dell's smart business technology advisors know there's nothing small about your business. That's why they offer one-on-one partnership and reliable business PCs with Intel Core processors to help you get business done. Call 877-BY-DELL. That's 877-BY-DELL. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Hey, Allman here, and proud to reintroduce to you my friends at Banner Construction. Bill and Sam and the gang are back supporting Allman in the Morning and Common Sense Radio. And so for all of your home improvement needs, I hope you are reaching out to my friends at Banner Construction, 569-1050, 314-569-1050. Spring right around the corner, along with warmer weather and lush green lawns. So now is the time to start thinking about a fresh, rare look for your home. That weathered exterior perhaps has gone through a tough winter. For 26 years, Banner has provided beautiful exterior restorations that not only enhance the look of your home, but add to its curb appeal and value. Call now during the pre-season savings event, and I'll tell you what, you're going to get last year's pricing, but it ends on the 30th of March, so you got to hurry. 314-569-1050. Call Banner and have a Banner day.
I'm Alexandra. I'm the styling director at Gilt Group. I've always believed that when a woman is in an outfit that she loves, she not only looks amazing, but she feels amazing too. What am I working for? To inspire confidence through style.
At ADP, we're designing a better way to work so you can achieve what you're working for. HR, talent, time, benefits, and payroll. Informed by data and designed for people. Learn more at design.adp.com.
Hi, I'm Mike Ditcher. On the field, they called me Iron Mike. But some days, even Iron Mike can feel a little rusty. So I turned to Blue Emu. Blue Emu's non-greasy, deep-penetrating formula gets down deep for big-time comfort. And more importantly, it doesn't leave me smelling like a locker room. Now, if you excuse me, I have some yelling to do. You hit like old men. Blue Emu. It works fast and you won't stink.
Business owners, self-employed, part-time employees, are you struggling to pay your bills because you no longer can afford your health insurance? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. With Obamacare premiums skyrocketing, higher deductibles, and shrinking networks, let me introduce you to Dryden Camus Insurance Agency as the answer, the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency has non-Obamacare ACA-compliant plans that do not fund abortion. There's no enrollment period, and you don't have to pay for expensive extras like pediatric dentistry or maternity care. Contact Joyce at Dryden Camus Insurance Agency and start saving up to 60%. Call 877-695-0245. That's 877-695-0245, or just go to kddi-ins.com. Cut through the confusion and save money with Dryden Camus Insurance Agency, serving Missouri and Illinois. This is the answer. This is the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency. Just go to kddi-ins.com.
Listen to Allman in the Morning with Alexa. Wake up and say, Alexa, play The Answer St. Louis. Now, back to Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Happy Friday, everybody. Good morning this morning. And this is Allman in the Morning. It's Common Sense Radio. I'm guessing that the future for the Democrat Party is going to be hanging with pencil neck Adam Schiff, who not only is resisting calls for him to resign, which I don't blame him for doing, but he's also then doubling down and deciding he's going to be the Russia collusion crusader. And of course he's being roundly praised for it. Keep in mind, these people who have been at the forefront of all of this stuff regarding Russia collusion, or at the forefront of even the Democrat Party talking about unseating President Trump, they would not be anywhere if it were not for the media propping them up. If the media simply did even 3/4 of the job that it claims that it's there to do, you would never really have the rise of Beto O'Rourke or Stacey Abrams, Andrew Gillum down in Florida, all of whom suddenly have become rock stars in the Democrat Party after having their rear ends handed to them in their elections. I don't see how losing an election. Obviously, people have lost elections before, and you come back and you do this, but it's astounding to me how the people on the losing end of many of these issues, and Schiff would be one of them, considering the collusion situation, wind up actually just becoming heroes all of a sudden. I'm glad to see, by the way, Stacey Abrams, and we'll follow up on this on the other side of this break, as well as Chris Matthews and his love of Adam Schiff and some other stuff. Lindsey Graham finally getting in the face of an anchor when she asked him about John McCain. And we'll have all that for you. But Stacey Abrams, to her credit, is saying, hey, stop talking about me as a Joe Biden hood ornament for his Camaro. He didn't even support me in my election in Georgia. So if I'm going to run for first, not second. But that's what the liberals do. Remember Chris Matthews when he talked about Obama being on Mount Rushmore, maybe just a level below it? Remember that? Love that one. It's Common Sense Radio.
No. With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Taking a victory lap in the aftermath of the Mueller report, President Trump holding a rally last night in Grand Rapids, Michigan. His first big event since the Mueller report cleared him of collusion and obstruction. The president also trumpeting the strength of the U.S. economy as well as the defeat of ISIS in Syria. Republican Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky demanding an investigation of top Justice Department officials who sought a FISA warrant to spy on the 2016 Trump presidential campaign. On the day that Britain was originally scheduled to leave the European Union, lawmakers are facing what Theresa May's government describes as a last chance to vote for Brexit. On Wall Street this morning, Dow futures up 112 points, S&P futures 12.5 points higher, NASDAQ futures up 36. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We're still accident-free and delay-free for this Friday morning. No problems in that regard. We do have a lot of road work out there, of course. You got construction on 141 southbound, 6440 east of 44. That's until 2:30 today. 2 right lanes of Illinois 15 westbound are closed between 157 and Pocket Road, and that's with construction until April 1st. And the exit ramp from eastbound 70 to Madison, that remains closed with construction until the end of September. Traffic is sponsored by Dell. Dell's small business technology advisors know there's nothing small about your business. That's why they offer one-on-one partnership and reliable business PCs with Intel Core processors to help you get business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL. That's 877-BUY-DELL. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Cloudy skies today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. We'll have a high of 62. We'll have rain and a thunderstorm tonight with a low of 45. Cloudy skies tomorrow and breezy with a little rain, the high 47. Clear to partly cloudy and chilly tomorrow night. There will be a freeze with a low of 31. Plenty of sunshine to wrap up the weekend on Sunday, but it will be chilly with a high of 48. I'm Drew Shannon with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Joe Walsh says 2020 can be an easy win for Trump.
Look, the Dems are going kind of cuckoo on a whole bunch of issues. Get rid of private health insurance. Give everybody a livable wage. Everybody go to college for free.
This is not complicated.
If 2020 is about how crazy ass these Democrats are, Trump can win.
The Joe Walsh radio program. Weeknights at 8 on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer. Breaking news. Stimulating talk.
Share, like, comment, tweet. Are these foreign terms to your business? They may not be to your competition and the reason you're losing sales. Social media marketing is on the verge of dominating commerce. The right social media strategy can help you slay the competition and gain new customers. We're Salem Surround. We take the mystery of digital marketing off your shoulders, letting you run your business while we deliver customers. Your competition is already social. Catch them and surpass them. We offer a free analysis of your digital marketing effectiveness and suggest methods that could dramatically increase your sales. We know how to make every digital dollar count towards sales success. Now there are no limitations on where you can reach customers with Salem Surround. total market penetration for increased ROI. Learn more by logging on to surroundstl.com. Surroundstl.com, connecting you with new customers.
The Dana Show, this afternoon at 1. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Tammy.com real estate listener line is 844-855-1380. Coming up, Ben Murphy from the Grassroots Republican crew on the way. Going to be here about 8 o'clock or so. Going to ask him also to assess kind of what's happening with the Republican Senate crew up there, the Blunt, Hawley situation and their behavior up there in D.C. Also going to run by the closed open primary discussion with him because I'm against the closed primary, but a lot of people who are in the party are party activists. Some of them, even the grassroots, are for the closed primary. But the problem is when the closed primary would mandate that you name a party and stick with it, and you can't change for a year, so you can't vote anywhere else other than the party you've declared in the primary. And unfortunately, as usual, people who come up with these ideas always have the worst reasons for them, which is always the problem. It's sometimes it's not the idea itself, it's a bad idea. It's the way the people who are promoting it position the idea. And so this Republican from Nixon says that it would strengthen party unity. I'm thinking, excuse me, but that's really not my job to strengthen party unity, and it's not the government's job to strengthen party unity. But again, that's the way of the Republicans. That's the lazy Republican way, which is instead of actually engaging you and bringing you into the party and giving you something to fight for, like President Trump did, by the way, because you all remember how we had to, on so many occasions, sleepwalk through the McCain campaign and through the Romney campaign. And we had to kind of just go along, but we really didn't know exactly. We weren't really on fire about it. We weren't very excited about it. We knew what we didn't want, which was Obama, but we didn't quite know whether or not McCain was a terrible candidate. And thank God for Sarah Palin, who kept him from being landslided. But nonetheless, it's always been one of these things, and even on the state level. I mean, Eric Greitens, when he came along, he energized the Republican Party, as did President Trump. While the other Republicans were saying they were going to kill the party, the reality is that the president and even Eric Greitens made the party survive, even if it didn't deserve to, under its current construct. And President Trump redefined it, redid the party. And Republicans ought to be thanking him for them all not going the way of the Whigs. You ought to be thanking them. He ought to be thanked. But instead, they continue to fight him and this kind of thing. But this Republican idea to kind of keep everybody in line and everybody in the party is pretty typical of the old school establishment Republicans who believe that it's the government's job to promote party unity. It's like, excuse me, if I want to vote, I'll vote for whoever I darn well please. And I don't need to sign up for your party to vote or do whatever. I don't think that's a role for the government. I really don't. Do you guys? I mean, am I missing something here? If you can make a case for it, call Tammy.com. Listener lines 844-855-1380. But again, I don't know how we get past this idea that it's the government's job to keep everybody in their pens. Does it make any sense? At least in the general, where it's obviously open. But, President Trump was able to get Democrats voting for him. So anyway, I want party unity. I want people to be unified. I don't want games to be played in primaries where people will vote and set other people up. But, sometimes freedom is not easy. Liberty's never been easy. You're going to get things that you don't necessarily want to have happen. You're going to see hats you don't really want to see. You're going to see T-shirts you don't want to see. But that's what freedom's all about. It's not always easy. You got to work sometimes to get what you want. And Republicans need to work harder. If they want party unity, they need to get party unity themselves and not pass a law or get legislation involved in it. All right, Jimmy's on line 1. Hey, Jimmy. Thanks for calling the show, buddy. How you doing?
Good morning, JB. Amen, brother. You're spot on this morning. This is about keeping the country club full of country club Republicans. They don't like the blue-collar guys like you and me or the libertarians that are coming in to shake this up.
It seems to be.
I can't help but think that they're not doing this for bailout, open borders, Blunt's run in a couple more years because Trump's going to win. They're not doing this to shut a presidential candidate out. They're setting this up for the next election. Have you heard from Roy Blunt since he shunned you?
Absolutely not. No, we've even called him. Yeah.
It's creepy the way he's been hanging around Trump in these photo ops on these network news stations. When you see Trump, you see Blunt looking right over his shoulder. It's almost like Brutus and Julius Caesar.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's funny how I don't know whether the president struck some kind of deal with Blunt over this matter because I don't understand it because Blunt was a very loyal person to him and even headed up the inaugural committee and everything else. And this vote from Blunt was inexplicable. The vote from Rand Paul was perfectly expected. It was okay. I get it. I get you. You got a brand, and this is your brand. And even though I disagree with him, I totally disagree with the libertarians who claim this is this was unconstitutional. It was perfectly constitutional, but nonetheless, Blunt was a surprise.
I wasn't all that surprised with Blunt, even when he was doing the inaugural. I've never trusted the guy. If you look at his votes, just follow the votes. He's not making the same kind of votes that Rand is consistently.
Right.
And, all these Planned Parenthood supporting Republicans, at some point, I think the Christian right needs to just come down on them hard and look at the way they're all voting in this state. There's only a couple of them, and none of them around here, who are really voting against all this funding. They've got a better program Planned Parenthood does than Herod had back in the day.
Yeah.
For killing babies.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And they run around and beat their chests like they're pro-life, and they're not. The other thing with all this is I think the businesses that we've always talked about this with regard to the Republican Party, these businesses that want this cheap labor, and I think a lot of that's behind what's going on with guys like Blunt and people like that. Rand, I think, if he really believes this is what Trump's doing is unconstitutional, then he ought to be championing repeal of that law. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
With Rand. I think that's where Rand's going wrong.
Yeah, I'm with you though. It's interesting too because the Republicans, if they were able to dominate the narrative on immigration, they would have you believe that the immigration issue is all the fault of Democrats. The fact that we have illegals here is all, the fault of Democrats, and it's absolutely not. And in fact, it's our Republicans who were just as complicit in allowing this flood of illegals here. In fact, even if you compared President Clinton's record for punishing businesses hiring illegals, it was far better than George W. Bush's. So, these folks, I think that both parties have been complicit in this, and then they just continue to feed into it. They're not doing anything about it. Or when they're able to, they sit there and they'll oppose the president on it. So you can really see the true motivations and the true hearts of many of these Republicans out there. Because I guarantee you, I don't recall any Roy Blunt commercials, but I guarantee you when the issue came up, he was a border hawk. He was a anti-illegal immigration hawk during the campaign. Yeah. I guarantee you.
Yeah, and the problem Blunt has, and I think he knows this, that campaign knows this, he did not even get 50% of the vote 2 years ago when he was on the same ticket as Trump. And you look at how close it was, and you brought this up, to where he was calling you for help.
Oh, yeah.
I think he knows that now, and now he just stabbed a guy in the back that probably pulled him over the finish line this last time. Otherwise, we'd have a different senator there.
Yeah, I was meeting him in hotel lobbies to talk him off the ledge because he was afraid that Canada was going to cream him. So
I know people who for him. I mean, and they voted for Trump, and they would not vote for Roy Blunt.
Yeah,
and it's harder and harder to do that when you watch what he's doing. I think he's a consummate Washington politician.
Yeah. Or at least
I don't know. I kind of like seeing out of Hawley lately, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, Hawley's been very visible too on some of the news shows and things. So he seems like he's ready. He's buckled up. He's ready to go. All right, Jimmy. Well, thanks for your thoughts, man. Appreciate you calling as always.
Thanks, Jamie.
It's good morning. It's Jim Day here at Allman in the Morning because another Jim is online too. Hi, Jim. Thanks for calling the show.
Hey, Jamie. The guy in front of me, the Jimmy in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him 3.5, maybe 4 Jamies, and on a scale from 1 to 5.
Okay.
That guy could be your co-host.
Yeah, I know.
He had so succinct, and he had all his ducks in a row and everything. And I agree with him so much, and especially on our senator who has always given me the creeps. And I've told you about this before. That Blunt has given me the creeps, as if he knows. Hey, there's the populace that I have to get elected, and then there's the people that I have to please, who fund me. And anyway, I don't want to go down that road. I just want to talk about the primaries.
Yeah,
I want to go even further and say that it is not the government's job to provide a platform for primaries for the parties. If a party wants to choose who they want to represent them in the general election, they should do that on their own. They should have a convention or something like that, but not have the government pay for an election where people who are not in the party can come and express their opinion. Because what happens is we no longer really have parties. We just have a blend of
Oh, right.
And too many people who are not Republicans are coming in and they're voting and they're bringing in the opinion of the popular culture into our party. And the conservatives the patriotic conservatives need to fight the popular culture. That's what is ruining the conservative movement.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Jim, that's actually a very interesting. That's an intriguing proposition. I'm wondering, and again, I think on its face, when you get right down to the bare bones on the matter, which is okay, should the government actually be providing a platform for choosing a party leader or party representative? And I think on that level, you're absolutely right. The answer is no. On the other hand, it might be good too, because what you're suggesting would possibly have kept out a Donald Trump, for instance. And I'm not saying that's what you want out of this whole thing. What I'm saying is, let's just pretend that we didn't have, for instance, a presidential primary, Or let's put it this way. Let's pretend we didn't have I'll keep it local. Let's pretend we didn't have a Missouri gubernatorial primary, and the party chose the candidate. Like if you ask somebody like Ben Murphy or something like that, like at a convention, they chose the candidate. If you would ask like Ben Murphy or whatever, they would tell you that would lead to the establishment kind of taking over and choosing the candidate, and it wouldn't have been Eric Greitens. I don't know what you think about Eric Greitens. What I'm saying is, though, he came in as kind of a Trumpian type of off-the-grid Republican, a different kind of Republican. Now, keep in mind, too, though, in defense of still that proposition, even though I question it, but in defense of your proposition, though, maybe then that's just too bad. So let's pretend that then you get an establishment candidate and they lose. Eventually, the system would adjust itself. If you said, okay, for the last 8 years, we've been putting these people forth and they've been chosen by the party or they've been chosen at conventions and it hasn't been working out for Republicans, maybe then it adjusts itself to a certain degree. Maybe that's just what we're going to have to put up with is a self-adjustment. We should be accountable to who we choose. And if it doesn't work, then we need to go back and figure out why it didn't work and adjust that way. Does that make sense?
Well, you're absolutely correct about this. This is a good point, but this has to do with mechanics,
right?
Not the real philosophy of how a party works. And if you really want to understand how a party works, you have to study the communists because they understand how a party works, and we don't. We think it's just we're all one big happy family, and that there's just shades of differences between us, and really there's not.
Yeah,
there's not shades of differences. They are stark.
Right.
And these stark differences have not been defined to the people who are on the outside. And once they understand that, they will come into the party and take it over and get rid of the insiders.
Yeah.
Okay. Jane,
okay. No, I got you, Jim. I'm actually. Thank you very much. I'm glad you brought that up. It's a fascinating proposition what you bring up. I think it's very interesting because you're pointing out in response to what I had to say. You're pointing out, well, actually, no. This actually would probably be more of a challenge to the insiders, more a challenge to the establishment, as opposed to a beefing up of them. Because can you imagine a Missouri convention where they're choosing the person who's going to run for the U.S. Senate? Can you imagine one of those? That'd be. I would sell popcorn at that event. Wouldn't you, Phil? Wouldn't you like to see Ben Murphy in there with his boxing gloves on and Sonny Wilson as the establishment tries to pick the candidate? You'd have another faction there. It'd be great. What you do is I'm all for this. I'm going to promote this now. This is going to be my thing now. I would just what you do is you put everybody in that convention hall and you lock the doors until they come up with a candidate. I think Jim's right. And I know that it's kind of uncomfortable saying we should be just like the commies, but that would be interesting to have everybody hold up in one room and just have a knockdown drag them out. Because isn't that really, in the end, I'm wondering, I'm fascinated by this because to my knowledge, the founding fathers, and Jim Talent had said earlier that they might have been a little naive about it, I don't know, but the founding fathers weren't real fans of parties. They thought it was that parties were gauche. They thought that it was kind of down market to be a member of a party, to be party, because it was kind of just lazy. But keep in mind, that's what they did when they had the Constitutional Convention. That's what they did. They sat there and they all fought for stuff. So maybe Jim is on to something. I like that whole idea. I hope I don't forget to talk about it with Ben. We've got another hour to go. I got to keep maybe I'll write it down, you think? Write that down on the piece of paper so I remember. No, I'm just kidding. All right, we'll be back. Your phone calls are welcome. Call Tammy.com, real estate listener line, 844-855-1380. I love the fact that people are starting to think differently about things, that people are kind of now free-forming on their ideas to make things better and to give normal, average, everyday people more of a stake in the elections. I love that idea. And thank God for President Trump, who pave the way for that to happen, to give us a new set of eyes with which to look at our political structure and our politics and our parties. It's great. It's Common Sense Radio.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Still a nice-looking morning in terms of problems. We have no accidents and no delays right now. The only thing we're really looking at is construction. You've got the King Bridge closed in both directions with road work until the end of September. And the exit ramp from eastbound 70 to Madison, that's closed with road work until the end of September. 15 westbound between 157 and Pocket Road. You've got 2 right lanes closed there until April 1st with construction. And our midday road work today, 9 to 3 on eastbound and westbound 44 between Grand and 70. Traffic is sponsored by Dell. Dell's small business technology advisors know there's nothing small about your business. That's why they offer one-on-one partnership and reliable business PCs with Intel Core processors to help you get business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL. That's 877-BUY-DELL. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Imagine doing one thing that gives you an entirely different perspective about your place in the world. Think it would be worth it? Dennis Prager here, inviting you to join me for a 10-day Stand with Israel tour, a tour through the land of Israel in December 2019. Come with me to get firsthand insight into Israel's fascinating past and promising future. Walk the ancient temple steps, sail on the Sea of Galilee, and so many more unforgettable moments. Return home inspired, renewed, and empowered. If you've ever dreamed of seeing Israel, this is your opportunity. With expert guides and important lectures at key sites, we'll be together in the comfort and safety of luxurious accommodations the whole time. Join me for a life-changing adventure to give you a renewed sense of purpose.
Join Dennis Prager and Mike Gallagher for an unforgettable guided tour through Israel this December 2nd through 11th. Book your trip now at theanswerstl.com.
Do you consider yourself as the expert in your industry? Do others in the community consider you to be the expert in your line of business? There's an affordable way to position your company as the expert. I'm Lori Vernier, Sales Manager for 1380 AM The Answer and Salem Media St. Louis. Let us help you bring your brand to life. You know your business, and we know how to build an effective and engaging radio show with both on-air and online distribution. Grow your business by enhancing your credibility and branding yourself as the market expert in your field, positioning you above your competitors. Let's work together to help make you the expert St. Louisans turn to for information in your industry. Contact me, Lori Vernier, at theanswerstl.com, and we can discuss bringing your brand to life with your own radio program.
If you love radio as much as we do, then why don't you join us by having your own show? Just go to theanswerstl.com and click Contact Us at the bottom of the page.
This station owned and operated by Salem Media Group.
Curtains, shades, blinds, shutters. What are the best for living rooms or bedrooms? Hey, it's Allman from Allman in the Morning. I want to tell you about the quality customized service you will receive when you call my friend Michael Proctor at Proctor Drapery. Michael is an interior designer with exceptional expertise when it comes to window treatments for your home or business. Michael has served our St. Louis area since 1974 with the highest quality and value for custom drapery, blinds, shades, and shutters. He's also the top-tier Hunter Douglas priority dealer and your first choice for Norman plantation shutters. Those are beautiful. Call Michael Proctor today and schedule your in-home consultation with Michael's mobile design unit. He will come to you. Weekend and evening appointments are available. The one-on-one appointment with Michael will ensure the look is exactly what you're looking for in your home or business. So cut down on the risk of error. Schedule your appointment today with Michael Proctor. Proctor spelled like doctor, proctordrapery.com.
KXFN St. Louis, K287BY St. Louis.
Rick Pogue here with Arrowhead Building Supply, the region's #1 specialty exterior building supplier. Arrowhead has the widest range of exterior products, from the most economical and commodity items to our highest-end outside elegance collection. If you need a contractor, Arrowhead supplies products to hundreds of the best contractors and builders in the business. Call us for a contractor referral and rest easy. The Arrowhead Cube Home Visualizer tool means you can upload an actual photo of your home and change it with just a touch of your finger. Now you can be 100% confident in your selections before they are installed in your home. Our product showrooms are the largest and most beautiful in the industry. We make it simple to experience a full range of siding, roofing, window, door, deck, and even stone options for your home or business. Check us out at arrowheadbuildingsupply.com or visit an Arrowhead showroom near you today in St. Peters, Missouri, Pee Wee, Missouri, and Fairview Heights, Illinois. Arrowhead Building Supply.
Hey, want to talk with Jamie? Call 844-855-1380. 844-855-1380. And interact with Common Sense Radio. This is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
I've become obsessed with the Temper Trap. I got a chance to listen to like most of their repertoire yesterday. And man, what a great band. I'll have to look them up and figure out when they're going to perform next. This is one of the this is the ones you guys know because I play it on the show all the time, but you got a really great library there, the Temper Trap people. All right, coming up, talk about parties. Wow, look at how the Democrat Party operates. Again, minorities are just hood ornaments for the white liberal establishment. There's proof in that with Uncle Joe. We'll have that for you. And your phone calls 844-855-1380.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The collusion delusion is over. The words of President Trump firing up the crowd at a massive rally last night in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
The Russia witch hunt was a plan by those who lost the election to try and illegally regain power by framing innocent Americans, many of them. They suffered with an elaborate hoax.
The rally, a sea of red MAGA hats and pro-Trump signs. The president celebrating the end of the Russia probe, the findings of no collusion and no obstruction. We will see if the third time is the charm for a Brexit plan in the UK. Having rejected a plan twice before, the British Parliament about to vote again on a blueprint for exiting the European Union. The vote coming on the very day the UK was originally scheduled to leave the EU. Lyft has had little trouble getting investors to hop on board its increasingly popular ride-hailing service. Its initial public offering fetching a $72 per share price that exceeded even its own expectations.
Lyft, which has yet to make a profit, is the first in a wave of technology firms headed to Wall Street. Rival Uber is expected to make its debut soon on the New York Stock Exchange, while Pinterest, Airbnb and Slack are all expected to sell stock for the first time in the coming weeks.
The BBC's Michelle Fleury. The city of Chicago going after actor Jesse Smollett for $130,000. The city demanding reimbursement for the cost of the investigation into Smollett's claims that he was the victim of a racist attack. On Wall Street this morning, Dow futures up about 107 points. S&P futures better by 11 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We picked up our first delay of the morning, and that's on 270 northbound between Big Bend and Manchester, starting to slow there. We've got midday roadwork coming up 9 to 3 on eastbound and westbound 44 between Grand and 70. And flooding still an issue. The flood warning along the Mississippi River continues until further notice. And 67 southbound is closed between the Clark Bridge and 94 with flooding. The two northbound lanes of 67 are split into one northbound lane and one southbound lane for traffic. And traffic is sponsored by Dell. Dell Small Business Technology Advisors know there's nothing small about your business. That's why they offer one-on-one partnership and reliable business PCs with Intel Core processors to help you get business done. Call 877-BY-DELL. That's 877-BY-DELL. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Cloudy skies today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. We'll have a high of 62. We'll have rain and a thunderstorm tonight with a low of 45. Cloudy skies tomorrow and breezy with a little rain, the high 47. Clear to partly cloudy and chilly tomorrow night. There will be a freeze with a low of 31. Plenty of sunshine to wrap up the weekend on Sunday, but it will be chilly with a high of 48. I'm Drew Shannon with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Dennis Prager runs down the list of the changes the left wants.
It's an amazing thing in America. The Democrats, because they're on the left, they really want to take it down. Do you understand what they are aiming at? They are aiming at the Electoral College, the vote at 16, extending the court to 15 members. One of the mottos of the left is nothing is sacred.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekday mornings at 11 on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Breaking news. Stimulating talk.
Hey, Dad, let's go fishing.
Well, I need a new fishing pole.
Now that can be my Father's Day gift. Hey, let's go back to Denny Dennis Sporting Goods for fishing poles. I know I can pick out the right fishing pole just for you.
Well, let's do it.
Denny Dennis, here we come.
Shop local. Head to Denny Dennis Sporting Goods at number 1 Gravois Road in Old Town Fenton. And like Denny Dennis Sporting Goods on Facebook to get in on their summer specials.
Hey, Dad, I caught a really big one.
Hey, Michael's Flooring Outlet is back supporting Allman in the Morning. Love this guy and love what they do for you. 4 locations throughout the St. Louis area. Check it out at michaelsflooringoutlet.com. The best installers you're going to find anywhere. The highest quality flooring products you're going to find anywhere. And if you want to test it out, go to Google and just Google Michael's Flooring Outlet reviews. And you're going to see top-notch 5-star ratings almost all across the board. michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning this morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Oh, man, I told you it was going to be a great rally yesterday in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Oh, they were chanting. President was cussing. I know. Some people it's too much for some people sometimes. Like, the president said BS. That's not nice. And I know people sometimes just think that he ought to be different, but you're not gonna. He's not gonna be different. That's the reality. And sometimes you're just not gonna have the perfection that you want out of this candidate. And thank goodness, Remember, we were told that, well, he's just not presidential. And we were responding, those of us who were wiser said, well, what does that mean? What's presidential? What would I rather have? A president who throws the American worker under the bus, who continues to keep the taxes the way they are, even though he's got a Congress he could easily use to reduce taxes the way President Trump did? Is it presidential to enter into trade deals that throw working Americans under the bus? Is it presidential to get into foreign skirmishes that you don't belong in? Sorry, Dan, this is the proposition I did. Is it presidential to continue to keep our border porous? Is it presidential to continue to fund sanctuary cities, or at least promote that? No, it's not. But I'll tell you one thing. Every single one of the people who were running seemingly were part of a group of individuals, with the exception of Rand Paul, who was running early and then got out. But most of the other people running, if they were involved in politics at all, were all people who were supportive of all this stuff. It's not very presidential. It's not very presidential for Jeb Bush and his pansy self to get out there and talk about, these people they're just dreaming of a better life. It's like, well, maybe they are, but they got to do it legally, like everybody else has had to do. So you give me a president who might say a bad word at a rally any day of the week over a presidential candidate or a president who throws Americans under the bus every day, it seems. So I don't know. So we didn't know what presidential was. We were changed. We were kind of tired of losing. And a lot of us finally kind of discovered, we finally saw the light. And part of the reason we saw the light is because President Trump was shining the light, shining the way. And so he changed our minds. He changed our hearts. He made us, and they did not like that. They did not like that. Which is why you had the vengeful, bitter, sore losery attempts to undermine you. It's why it's not just Hillary who was calling you deplorable, you know. It was Glenn Beck. It was Jeb Bush. It was Bill Kristol. It was George Will. I mean, they weren't actually using the word deplorable, but you know what I mean. They thought you were just a bunch of rubes, man. The National Review, Rich Lowry, Jonah Goldberg, Kevin Williamson, remember him? He said the blue-collar communities must necessarily die because they deserved it, because they were lazy. It's a good shot right there, man. Because they were lazy. They deserved it. We're not a nation that makes shoes and clothes anymore. We answer telephones. And then even that, Republicans were hiring people from India to do that. So yeah, that's what they remember they called your concerns about this country grievances. They said you were a bunch of white, angry people with grievances. Remember that? They were all about that, man. So anyway, back to the rally. So you can talk all you want about the president's tweets or the president's language, but give me, I don't mind if the president spends 2 hours cussing a blue streak as long as he doesn't hurt my family and my community with bad economic policies, bad trade policies, bad foreign policies. Cuss all day long if you want to. As long as you're not stabbing me in the back, I'm good. And I realize there's a sense of, I get it. But remember, we were all kind of told, it's like, he cheated on his wife. He's rich, wealth, he's cusses and he's too avuncular. He's narcissistic. He's blah, 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 blah. He's an egomaniac. Remember that? And they insinuated somehow that you were like that too. Oh, then you must not have any. I remember this because I was getting all of it. I was getting it all from the Ted Cruz people, You're not a true conservative. You're a secret liberal, said the guy with the tiger picture on his Twitter page and the Bible quote. You're running the country into the ground. It's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And it was different. So anyway, yeah, President Trump cussed. Last night, Laura Ingraham played the soundbite, but they kept the full word in there. We're not doing that here. We here at Salem Media have different standards, everybody. We here at the Allman in the Morning Show, we have different standards. Of course, we had the kids in the car, for crying out loud. But you know what? This was an adult rally. This wasn't a kids rally, so that's how it goes. And it's nothing your kids haven't heard before, believe me. Anyway. Here. Sorry.
Decide whether they...
Here, I need to... Yeah.
The Democrats have to now decide whether they will continue defrauding the public with ridiculous bullshit. Partisan investigations, or whether they will apologize to the American people and join us to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure, bring down the cost of health care and prescription drugs, which we're doing incredibly, help us fix our broken trade deals.
You realize that the Republicans don't have a replacement plan for the overturning of Obamacare, the getting rid of Obamacare. And President Trump just indicated a couple things that are key issues here in terms of any revamping we need to do. And I told you yesterday how unbelievable it was. Again, give me a guy with some energy and who cusses any day long over a guy with no energy and reading from a teleprompter constantly with a bunch of pablum. Give me this guy any day of the week. But keep in mind, President Trump won the election, and suddenly he's like, okay, time to overturn Obamacare, repeal and replace. Ready? Ryan's like, no. Oh, why? We don't have a plan. Oh, what have you been doing for the last 8 years? Oh, I see. Fundraising on the promise to repeal Obamacare, but you haven't come up with a plan to replace it or to come up with a plan to address the issues that Obozo thought he was addressing. You mean you don't have a plan, Paul? No. Why? And then, of course, the truth is they thought Hillary was going to win. So why should we have a plan? I mean, we need a plan. Trump's going to lose because he's a racist and a bigot and deplorable. Hillary's going to win. And the minute she wins, we get our mass mailings going on asking for money for our campaigns. That's how it's going to work. We'll never repeal or replace Obamacare. We just fundraise against it. And that's what they thought was going to happen. So when President Trump got into office and started rolling up his sleeves and saying, let's roll, okay, time to go. It's like, I'm sorry, Mr. President, we don't have any ideas. It's like, oh, great. Thank you. Two critical ideas are important here in terms of reducing the costs of health care, which is what Obamacare was supposed to do. And instead, as I've compared it long ago, to the answer to a barking dog. When your neighbor's dog is barking and driving you crazy, you have choices in how to deal with it, and the least preferable choice would be to go out and shoot the dog to death, right? So similarly with Obamacare, we had a situation where we had some things we needed to address. The high costs of health care and the high costs of prescription drugs. Those were vitally important elements of the need to address the healthcare issue, because there were people who just simply could not afford healthcare because the premium costs, the costs were way too high. So we had that problem to deal with. So instead what happened is Obama came up with this monolithic piece of legislation that was basically amounting to a tax, which basically ultimately wound up hurting small businesses and, in fact, wound up hurting the people who probably voted for Obama. A lot of people who are working part-time. You work part-time at a Hardee's, and your hours are kept below a certain threshold because Hardee's knows under Obamacare it has to pay for your health care if you're 1 hour above a certain threshold. Then they keep you low. It was hurting a lot. It was cutting people's hours. Some people's health insurance costs skyrocketed. They went higher. And still, the pharmaceutical costs never changed. Because while Obama was promoting this idea of making health care accessible to everybody, he was at the same time making it much harder, for instance, for the generic drug makers to do the paperwork required to be generic drug makers, to have a generic drug on the market. The permitting process and the paperwork and the application process for a generic drug maker became, under Obama, because of his increased regulations, everything else, became just as expensive as a name brand generic drug maker. It became just as expensive. So that didn't help any, because the whole idea of a generic drug was to make it cheaper than the brand name drugs. But if it costs the generic drug maker just as much money as the brand name drug maker to file the paperwork then why bother? Because you're not making any money. It's costing you money. You don't have the kind of funds that a Pfizer might have or whatever. So that's how that happened. So the prescription drug costs did not go down. So the key here right now is there are two really easy fixes for the healthcare crisis that we have right now in terms of costs. You allow, if we had just gone back, if they had just listened to Jim Talent 15, 20 years ago when he was in Congress and other Republicans, even Roy Blunt to his credit, about the mobility of insurance plans so that a person in Illinois a business in Illinois can team up with a business in Missouri and pool their health care costs. That's illegal right now under federal law. And I couldn't tell you why. I could probably research it and tell you why, but I can't tell you why right now. But it's illegal. It's illegal for a tool and die maker in Missouri to hook up with a tool and die maker in Granite City and have a tool and die maker healthcare conglomerate policy. It's illegal right now. Why is that? That could be easily fixed. And the other thing is to roll back the president's regulations, Obama's regulations when it comes to generic drugs, to make a more competitive market for these drugs. And also, for that matter, maybe even to reduce the amount of money that we're giving drug companies for research purposes. So that's another option as well. So that because right now we have a system that's basically corporate welfare for a lot of these drug makers, and so they don't feel the need necessarily to compete, because they've got kind of a monopoly on everything. Those are two really easy things to do. And apparently Paul Ryan and his gang couldn't come up with any of these conclusions on how to do that for 8 years. So when President Trump wrote in and said we're ready to rock, the Republicans like Ryan and those guys were basically on the couch in the basement watching TV. Hey, you guys coming up? Oh, what? You coming up to start to work a little bit? Again, I compare it to your 14-year-old, although my son is 14. I love him, and he's smart, and so I hate comparing people to teenagers, but that's kind of what it was. These guys were not doing anything. So they weren't ready to go. Well, now they need to be ready to go. And the president indicated that at the rally yesterday. For all the pomp and circumstance and the fun and the raucousness of it, there were some issues there that he was conveying that were very important things that need to be done right away. And that's where you have the Republican Party, again, anemic as always, and that's why we lost elections twice, and why we haven't had tax reform for 25 years. And why we didn't have any adjustment of our terrible trade policies or anything of the nature, because Republicans were just lazy. They were raising money on it all, though. Oh yeah, we're going to go after Planned Parenthood, sanctuary cities. We're going to defend our borders. Illegal immigration is a terrible thing. It's really a problem. We need to create a better economic environment, and yet they weren't doing anything to do that. They weren't doing anything to make that happen. So, all right. I'll stop picking on the Republican Party and have my day with the Democrats on the other side of this break. Your phone calls are welcome. Call Tammy.com. Real estate listener line is 844-855-1380. It's Common Sense Radio.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Still just one delay at this hour. That's on 270 northbound, a little bit slow between Big Bend and Manchester. Otherwise, it's construction and flooding. That's what we're looking at right now. The on-ramp from Grand to westbound 44 closed with construction until the 1st of July. And in Alton, 67 southbound is closed between the Clark Bridge and 94 with flooding. The two northbound lanes are split into one northbound and one southbound. to handle that southbound traffic. But otherwise, it's a quiet morning. Traffic is sponsored by Dell. Dell's small business technology advisors know there's nothing small about your business. That's why they offer one-on-one partnership and reliable business PCs with Intel Core processors to help you get business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL. That's 877-BUY-DELL. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
You know, I want you to follow my friend Dr. Elira Figueroa on Instagram, Skin Laser STL on Instagram, skinlaserstl.com on the web. And it's the Skin and Laser Institute. And this is really great. She's got all kinds of pictures and things like that you can see, not only on the website, but also on Instagram. She kind of populates Instagram on a regular basis. So you can see what they're doing in terms of beautifying people's faces, everybody. It's really amazing. I actually did something I never imagined I would ever do, really, and that was get a hydrofacial, get a facial. It's like I'm not the pedicure manicure guy, you know, but I thought, well, this would be really cool. So what it does is it takes off a layer of your skin that kind of deadwoods your skin there a little bit, brings out the new positive elements of your skin. It's exfoliating. It's really, you're just going to love it. You're going to love how you feel afterwards, everything else. Sometimes you might be in line for some microneedling, which kind of softens up your face and your lines in your face. And some people even go the Botox direction as well. She's an expert in all of those fields, and I'm telling you, you're not going to have a better value than what you're going to get from the Skin and Laser Institute. Now, I'm on to you looking for the pool body, right? Or looking for the vacation body. So you have spent the winter, and as usual, some people kind of add a few pounds during the wintertime, and then suddenly it's summertime, and you haven't been able to peel any of that off. Well, with the BTL Vanquish Me, the Exilus, and the Cellutone, body sculpting, melting away that fat is all something that Dr. Elira Figueroa will do. So she can melt away the fat and the inches, and she can break down the cellulite and also tighten that skin up so that you have a body that you want for the summertime and for the pool and for the beach. So check it out on the web, skinlaserstl.com. It's the Skin and Laser Institute.
Are you looking for your dream home, but it doesn't seem to exist? You've tried to figure it out on your own, but don't know what step to take next? Don't worry. I'm Tammy, owner of Tammy Mitchell Hines & Company, and my team and I are ready to help ease that stress. My team serves Monroe, St. Clair, and Madison counties in Illinois. So go to calltammy.com to set up your stress-free appointment today. Give me an idea of what you're looking for, and we will do the rest. If you buy or sell a house with me, you can use my moving truck for free. Just go to calltammy.com.
Business owners, self-employed, part-time employees, are you struggling to pay your bills because you no longer can afford your health insurance? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. With Obamacare premiums skyrocketing, higher deductibles, and shrinking networks, let me introduce you to Dryden Camus Insurance Agency as the answer, the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency has non-Obamacare ACA-compliant plans that do not fund abortion. There's no enrollment period, and you don't have to pay for expensive extras like pediatric dentistry or maternity care. Contact Joyce at Dryden Camus Insurance Agency and start saving up to 60%. Call 877-695-0245. That's 877-695-0245, or just go to kddi-ins.com. Cut through the confusion and save money with Dryden Camus Insurance Agency, serving Missouri and Illinois. This is the answer. This is the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency. Just go to kddi-ins.com.
Allman here for a long-time Common Sense Radio supporter, Matthew Mitchell, the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency, 855-QUOTE-ME. Low premiums and low deductibles on your home, auto, and life, and I have all three of those policies with my good friend Matthew. Also, he's got some great deals for the young driver. You know how expensive it can be to insure them. He's got low premiums and low deductibles, even for your young drivers. 855-QUOTE-ME, 855-QUOTE-ME.
America's First News with Matt Ray gets you up to speed mornings from 4 to 6, right before Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Good morning, everybody, this morning. Happy Friday to all of you. And I love this bit from Lindsey Graham, who was forced to respond to Hakeem Jeffries, of all people, over his support for Donald Trump, but his friendship with John McCain. First of all, who the hell thinks it's anybody's business, and Hakeem Jeffries' business for that matter, to start to assess Lindsey Graham's relationship with John McCain and everybody else? These Democrats, I'm telling you, these people will stop at nothing. I mean, they'll sit there and obsess over a bad word the president uses at a rally all day long, and yet never realize that that look at what you're doing. How first of all, the white liberals in the Democrat Party always treat the blacks like hood ornaments. And the blacks in the Democratic Party, like Hakeem Jeffries and Maxine Waters and the rest, are so embarrassing that I don't know how these people still operate. I don't know how these people plan on winning. The only way they're going to be helped is because the media will prop them up every single time. They don't need a political action committee when they have CBS, NBC, ABC, and CNN, and MSNBC for that matter. So anyway, we'll come back. We've got this great response from Lindsey Graham to this CNN anchor who tries to shame him over his support of Donald Trump and friendship with John McCain. And Joe Biden's back in the news again.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. The collusion delusion is over. The words of President Trump firing up the crowd at a huge rally last night in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The president celebrating the end of the Russia probe with the findings of no collusion, no obstruction. We will see if the third time is a charm for a Brexit plan in the UK. Having rejected a plan twice before, the British Parliament about to vote again on a blueprint for leaving the European Union. The city of Chicago going after actor Jussie Smollett for $130,000. The city demands reimbursement for the cost of the investigation into Smollett's claims that he was a victim of a racist attack. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures pointing to a higher open later on. Right now, Dow futures are up about 110 points. S&P futures better by 11 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We're looking at 2 delays at this hour. We've got one on 270 northbound still, just Big Bend to Manchester with that slow spot. And then 6440 westbound backed up Hampton to Laclede Station Road. Midday work today, 9 to 3 on eastbound and westbound 44 between Grand and 70. And in Alton, 67 southbound is still closed between the Clark Bridge and 94. Now, the 2 northbound lanes of 67 are split, one going northbound and the other one southbound to pick up that traffic. And traffic is sponsored by Dell. Dell Small Business Technology Advisors know there's nothing small about your business. That's why they offer one-on-one partnership and reliable business PCs with Intel Core processors to help you get business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL. That's 877-BUY-DELL. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Cloudy skies today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. We'll have a high of 62. We'll have rain and a thunderstorm tonight with a low of 45. Cloudy skies tomorrow and breezy with a little rain, the high 47. Clear to partly cloudy and chilly tomorrow night. There will be a freeze with a low of 31. Plenty of sunshine to wrap up the weekend on Sunday, but it will be chilly with a high of 48. I'm Drew Shannon with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
When you listen to the Ed Martin movement, you never know who's going to drop in.
We're talking to Ron Maxwell, the director of Gettysburg and a filmmaker. And who else has let down the Republican Party or the country?
It's the entire Republican Party leadership in the House and the Senate. They're not working for the people. They sabotaged the president at every level, every conceivable level. Get rid of them because they might as well be in the Democratic Party.
Tune in to the Ed Martin movement weekdays from 3 to 5 to find out who's dropping in next.
You love that smell. That new truck smell. All cleaned up and ready to go.
Did you get your vent visor?
You know, the rain guard that goes over your window? Stop by Custom Car and Truck in O'Fallon, Illinois for free installation and lifetime warranty on vent visors.
How about your bug shield? You don't want to mess up the hood of your new truck with dead bugs. Keep them off the hood with free installation and lifetime warranty bug shield.
See John and the crew off Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois,
or online at customcarandtruck.com.
You know, people ask me, Smash, you rock radioed St. Louis for over 30 years, and now you're Jesus musicating on us? Yeah, you know, the People's Praise Party, where the word is in the music. After I played songs like Taking Care of Business for the 1,000,000th time, I took care of biz, got right with God, discovered all kinds of great music from the now, then, and the way back when. Hear it all Sundays, 11 a.m. on 1380 a.m. and 105.3 FM, The Answer.
Hey, don't just listen to Allman in the Morning. See the show at theanswerstl.com. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Welcome back. CallTammy.com. Real estate listener line is 844-855. Quote me. That lava lamp's finally kind of kicking in and doing something different. But how long does that thing take to start to move a little bit like a real lava lamp should? I mean, I think my Target trip the other night was a failure. I got that Hamilton Beach coffee maker that I still don't know how to operate. And then I got that lava lamp just for the heck of it that doesn't lava. It's been on since, what, 5:15 or so, Phil?
Yeah, I think so far the coffee maker's acted more like a lava lamp than the lava lamp.
Yeah, I know.
Just for the record.
Yeah, man. Golly.
What's this jam we're jamming to right now?
Oh, this is I Thank You from ZZ Top,
ZZ
baby.
Top, okay. I was like old school ZZ Top.
Definitely some old school. It's from one of their older albums.
Oh, yeah.
The guitar on this is fantastic. These dudes are great. ZZ Top, man, I introduced Aiden to ZZ Top. I think it was a couple summers ago because they had the, I love the fact that they called this concert out in St. Charles. They call it the South's Gonna Rise Again tour. That took some guts. Just love that. So you had the Outlaws and you had Marshall Tucker Band out there, and I actually went with I met Cassidy Caldwell over there, who is Toy Caldwell's daughter, who lives in St. Louis here. And Aiden and I kind of stood stage side to watch Marshall Tucker. Obviously, Tory Caldwell has passed away. But nonetheless, saw the Outlaws, who were great, and then saw Marshall Tucker, and then took an Uber over to the amphitheater where ZZ Top was playing. So we had our Southern Rock night that night. And ZZ Top was great, man. They're really great in concert. They were fun. All right, so coming up, Ben Murphy's going to be joining us at about 8 o'clock. Had a very interesting discussion earlier about the closed primary, open primary thing, and there was even an idea that this Jim had called in, Jim number 2 had called in and said that he doesn't even believe that the government ought to be facilitating a primary for a party, that it actually ought to be just done at a convention level. That would be interesting. I think that'd be fun to see. Be really raucous and maybe the way it should be. So we'll ask Ben what he thinks about all that and follow up on that. In the meantime, I'm gonna kind of go after the Democrat Party here real quickly. So here, I'll turn that back down again, the music down again. So the big thing is that apparently Hakeem Jeffries thinks it's his business to kind of Judge, I don't even know who Hakeem Jeffries is, but he's another one of those Democrat hacks in the Democrat Party. And he has decided that it's any of his business to talk about Lindsey Graham and his friendship with John McCain. Now, keep in mind, Hakeem Jeffries is probably cut from that same cloth of people who hated John McCain when he was running in 2008. They called him a racist. They called him a cheater. Some of them even questioned his citizenship because his parents he was born in Panama. I mean, it's unbelievable. And so they have but John McCain is like their hero, like their personal hero. They hated this dude ever since he was a senator. There were Democrats who liked John McCain.
Listen to this.
Suddenly, hold on a second here.
Just yesterday.
Suddenly, John McCain is the guy who they're digging him up from the ground and parading him around and attacking President Trump, and now Lindsey Graham. So Hakeem Jeffries decides, and this is another example of where we have yet another member of Congress who stands in front of a microphone blabbering nonsense when they ought to be actually doing something for the country. And Republicans are just as guilty as the Democrats are. These guys, I don't even know what they're doing up there other than appearing on television shows, campaigning in another state, or just standing in front of microphones pontificating. The only people allowed to pontificate in front of a microphone are me. No, I'm just kidding. But still, here's the CNN challenging Lindsey Graham.
Listen to this.
Well, Lindsey Graham spent years as the sidekick to John McCain. And then Donald Trump gets elected, and Donald Trump continues to bash John McCain in reprehensible ways.
By the way, this is Hakeem Jeffries. He's standing, as usual, with a bunch of other do-nothing Democrats holding some kind of news conference in front of a bunch of American flags and babbling on and on and on. And how this even became an issue up there is beyond me. He's in New York.
And Lindsey Graham, on the issue, is in the Witness Protection Program.
You want to respond to that?
Yeah, I could give a damn what he thinks about me and John McCain. The bottom line is that my relationship with John McCain was one of the highlights of my time as being in Congress. He's one of my dearest friends. And it's okay for John McCain and Donald Trump to disagree. It's not okay, in my view, for the president to go after John McCain personally. I've said that 1,000 times. But the bottom line here is I'm going to help President Trump. I don't care whether Mr. Jeffries likes it or not. I'll honor my friend until the day I die. But this president feels like people around McCain were out to get him. John McCain wasn't.
But just to square this, I do want, a lot of folks wonder, and I've wondered it too, how do you square this one? John McCain is one of your closest friends in the world.
Well, it's easy.
And Donald Trump has attacked him relentlessly, even in his death.
Well,
so again, why is this even on CNN? What is the purpose of this interview with Lindsey Graham and this woman who doesn't speak with her, doesn't open her mouth when she talks? What is this here? I mean, this is 2.5 minutes of just space on CNN. They're trying to use to embarrass President Trump and embarrass Lindsey Graham. I don't get it.
You work with someone with the capacity to attack someone even in their death.
So there's two sides to this story.
What?
President Trump is the president of the United States. I represent the state of South Carolina.
That woman have lockjaw or something? Like, what? If you just open your mouth another half an inch, we can understand a word you're saying. Be great. Listen to me. Mean. Lord.
Capacity to attack someone even in their death.
So there's two sides to this story.
What did she just say?
President Trump is the president.
Next time somebody even in their death. What did she just say there?
It's easy.
And Donald Trump has attacked him relentlessly, even in his death.
Well,
how do you work with someone with the capacity to attack someone even in their death?
So there's two sides to this story.
Even though they're what?
President.
How do you swear? She's like a I was expecting her to have like a puppet someplace. Because she's talking like a ventriloquist talks, because nobody buys what a ventriloquist is selling, by the way. Can we address that issue just really, really quickly, though? Is there any ventriloquist out there who has ever been remotely entertaining? That you're just not obsessing over watching their mouth closed but uttering words?
I'm going to say Sherry Lewis, and that's the only one I can come up with that I thought was amazing. In that world of making things talk that aren't really talking, and you're doing it. But she was amazing, but no, I know what you mean.
Listen to me attacking CNN for wasting time on this, and I'm utilizing valuable radio real estate to attack ventriloquism. It's the Allman in the Morning crusade. I'm against ventriloquism.
It's fake.
Yeah, right. That puppet really isn't talking. Oh, that's a funny thing. That's back in the day when ventriloquism was great because it was so novel, and it was when people didn't have their fill of so many other entertaining things to do, So it was easy for people at that time to kind of suspend their disbelief and just kind of go with it. But now ventriloquism doesn't really have a place because there's so much more out there. I think people have kind of had their fill, so they really don't. They don't buy into. They do not want to suspend their disbelief. They want that puppet to speak without anybody behind it, and now you can do that thanks to all the technology we have out there. Anyway, I still can't figure out what she's saying, but that's okay.
Donald Trump has attacked him relentlessly, even in his death. Well, how do you work with someone with the capacity to attack someone even in their death?
So there's two sides to the story.
Even though they're there.
President Trump is the president.
Okay, I have to know what she's saying. And I can't figure out what she's saying. And now I'm obsessed with trying to figure out what that woman is saying. How is it you can text somebody even though they're dead? It's like, what did you just say? I wish Lindsey Graham would have just said, what? and scolded her like you scold your kids sometimes when they're mumbling. I don't understand your word you're saying. You're mumbling. I don't know how many times I got that from my parents. But I wasn't an anchor on CNN. I was just a dumb kid. I can't understand the words you're saying. You're mumbling.
Donald Trump has attacked him relentlessly, even in his death. Well, how do you work with someone with the capacity to attack someone even in their death?
So there's two sides to this story.
Even though they're dead?
President Trump is the president of the United States. I represent the state of South Carolina.
Yeah, I think she's even though they're dead.
How do you work with someone with the capacity to attack someone even in their death?
So there's two sides to this story. President Trump is the president of the United States.
I can just see now everybody becoming a trend now. Good evening. John Wilson has been died. What? Died? Yeah.
In his death.
Well,
how do you work with someone with the capacity to attack someone even in their death?
So there's two sides to this story. President Trump is the president of the United States. I represent the state of South Carolina. They want me to work with this president. I want to have influence with this president because he is president. I think he's doing a damn good job, quite frankly, on national security, on economic policy. I'm going to continue to help him. To all those people who bring up this narrative, you just hate Trump. You don't really care about McCain and me. I know this.
What did he say? To all those people who branged up this narrative? What did he say? What am I doing here? To all those people who branged up this narrative. Did he say that? I think he said
on economic policy. I'm going to continue to help him. To all those people who bring up this narrative. They just hate
Okay.
Trump. You don't really care about McCain and me. I know this is a game. You're not offended about me and McCain. You're trying to use me to get to Trump. I'm not playing that game. If you think the only way to honor John McCain is to tell this president, I won't work with you, I will never help you, that's your agenda, not mine. My agenda is twofold: to honor my friend for the rest of my life in every way I can and help this president be successful. And I'm not into this idea the only way you can help honor John McCain is to trash out Trump. President Trump has been good to me in the sense he's allowed me in his world. He's made decisions, I think, based on some input I've given him. He's subject to changing his mind. I want him to be successful. I'm the senator from South Carolina, and I'm going to do what the people in South Carolina want me to do, help make this president successful.
Good for him. That was great. I mean, he told her, didn't he? Stop using me to attack. Stop using me and my friendship and a dead John McCain to try to get at Donald Trump. He's like, you don't care about me or South Carolina or John McCain for that matter. You know. I'm seeing video of Anthony Hopkins and what is that from Magic?
That was a creepy movie.
Golly,
man.
Magic was amazing.
Oh, man.
Oh. Yeah, that was a good movie, though. That dummy. It's magic. It's like, oh, no. Horrible thing. I would let a puppet kill me, ever. Can you imagine getting to heaven, saying, how'd you die? I was killed by a knife-wielding puppet. You're like, what? Yeah, it's just a puppet killed you? Get over there in that room. Where are the other people who've been killed by puppets? It's a whole room full of them. They're all lamenting the puppetry. It's the anti-puppetry room. Yeah, I was killed by a puppet. Oh. All right. We're going to come back, and I will get to this Democrat deal really quickly. It's so interesting to watch. You know, actually, Stacey Abrams, who I totally disagree with, she's a terrible candidate, promoting terrible policies. But I will tell you that she was pretty strong in terms of refusing to be used by old white liberal Joe Biden in the way that old white liberals use blacks, and that is as his hood ornament on his presidential Camaro. And so we've got a little bit from her and more examples of how white liberals seemingly just simply use minorities, especially the Democratic Party, I'm saying, use minorities as just simply accoutrements as opposed to any real part of the party. And so we'll follow on that, too, and take your phone calls. Call Tammy.com. Real estate listener line is 844-855-1380.
Call the show at 844-855-1380 and interact with Jamie on the calltammy.com listener line. That's 844-855-1380. More Allman in the Morning next on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Just a couple of slow spots out there. Nothing has changed in that regard. 270 northbound backed up Big Bend to Manchester. And you'll see brake lights on 6440 westbound Hampton to Laclede Station. We still have flooding problems in Alton, where 67 southbound is closed between the Clark Bridge and 94. So as a result, the two northbound lanes are split into one northbound and one southbound. And your exit ramp from eastbound 70 to Madison, that's closed with roadwork until the end of September. And traffic is sponsored by Dell. Dell's small business technology advisors know there's nothing small about your business. That's why they offer one-on-one partnership and reliable business PCs with Intel Core processors to help you get business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL. That's 877-BUY-DELL. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
You know, I have had conversations with you as a homeowner about how awesome the Arrowhead Building Supply folks are. So they have the Cube. They have this really great process with which you can send in a photo of your home. And then the Cube, which is Rick Pogue's little baby, the Cube will show you exactly how the siding or the roofing or anything else in terms of the building supply materials will look on your home. So you can see really a really nice, accurate portrayal of what that will look like on your home. It's really great technology and embraced by Rick and the rest of the gang there. And so that's at their locations. And they, of course, have the contractor referral services for you as well. But I haven't really talked a lot this time around with this current radio station and my current stepping up for these guys at Arrowhead Building Supply, I really haven't talked a lot about the fact that they're so good when it comes to you, the contractor. So they have the 315 guarantee, and they have the job blockers that are available to you as well. On down the line, they make it so easy for you as a contractor to get the job done and get the job done efficiently. And those job blockers and the 315 guarantee, like for instance, today is Friday. There are very few building suppliers who will deliver on a Friday. I don't know why that is the case, but they deliver on Friday at Arrowhead Building Supply. They also have, of course, the roofing shingle recycling program as well. And they also, if you get hooked up with their service, they have a contractor referral service there. So once your name is on that list, you're going right to go with the people who are wanting the building supplies on their home. So check it out on the web. It's arrowheadbuildingsupply.com. That's arrowheadbuildingsupply.com.
Business owners, self-employed, part-time employees, are you struggling to pay your bills because you no longer can afford your health insurance? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. With Obamacare premiums skyrocketing, higher deductibles, and shrinking networks, let me introduce you to Dryden Camus Insurance Agency as the answer, the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency has non-Obamacare ACA-compliant plans that do not fund abortion. There's no enrollment period, and you don't have to pay for expensive extras like pediatric dentistry or maternity care. Contact Joyce at Dryden Camus Insurance Agency and start saving up to 60%. Call 877-695-0245. That's 877-695-0245, or just go to kddi-ins.com. Cut through the confusion and save money with Dryden Camus Insurance Agency, serving Missouri and Illinois. This is the answer. This is the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency. Just go to kddi-ins.com.
KXFN, St. Louis, K287BY, St. Louis.
Communication is the key to building any business. 1380 AM and 105.3 FM, The Answer, can be your communication key. The microphone that voices your business message from the stage of your own radio show, defining you as the expert in your line of work. The stage that brings your brand to a solid awareness, place, and position in the vast community of customers listening here in St. Louis. The broadcast professionals here will help your show develop, building you, your company, and your customer base with and through an affordable on-air and online media distribution. Get to theanswerstl.com. Click Contact Us. theanswerstl.com. Contact us. Do so and then look for a call from sales manager Lori Vernier. Then build your business with your very own radio show on 1380 AM and 105.3 FM. The Answer.
Curtains, shades, blinds, shutters. What are the best for living rooms or bedrooms? Hey, it's Allman from Allman in the Morning. I want to tell you about the quality customized service you will receive when you call my friend Michael Proctor at Proctor Drapery. Michael is an interior designer with exceptional expertise when it comes to window treatments for your home or business. Michael has served our St. Louis area since 1974 with the highest quality and value for custom drapery, blinds, shades, and shutters. He's also the top-tier Hunter Douglas priority dealer and your first choice for Norman Plantation shutters. Those are beautiful. Call Michael Proctor today and schedule your in-home consultation with Michael's mobile design unit. He will come to you. Weekend and evening appointments are available. The one-on-one appointment with Michael will ensure the look is exactly what you're looking for in your home or business. So cut down on the risk of error. Schedule your appointment today with Michael Proctor. Proctor spelled like doctor, proctordrapery.com.
Dennis Prager, this morning at 11. Now, more Common Sense Radio with Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Good morning this morning, everybody. Call Tammy.com. Real estate listener line is 844-855-1380. Yeah, this is Common Sense Radio, and happy Friday, y'all. Ben Murphy's here. He's going to be on at 8 o'clock. Got a lot to talk about. We were just discussing. Well, you saw the Karl Rove piece in the Wall Street Journal encouraging that Karl Rove is wrong all the time. And This time he's, again, wrong and suggesting the president needs to just simply forget about this whole Mueller stuff and the attempted coup over you. Forget about all that stuff. The swing voters really want to hear about other stuff. It's like, no. We want blood. And you know what? We're going to get it. And if anybody can extract it, it's going to be President Trump. We'll talk more about that. On to the Democrats. Remember, Joe Biden's been talking about Stacey Abrams, where people have been talking about him having her as his running mate, right? And Stacey Abrams is like, you didn't even support me in my governor's race in Georgia. But what's new with the white liberal establishment of the Democrat Party who constantly see minorities as just simply bait for their votes? They don't really want the minorities to actually speak. They want the minorities to stand there and be quiet and show their colored skin so that the Democrats can actually say that they're a party of diversity. But generally, whenever a minority starts to kind of pipe up and start to make headway, they'll crush him. They didn't do that with Obama. Hillary Clinton tried by questioning his birth. Like, oh, I thought that was Trump. No, it was Hillary Clinton who, and her campaign, who brought up the Kenya thing. But anyway, it's not atypical of the way these white liberals operate. And so it's no surprise that Joe Biden's thinking, I'll just kind of wear Stacey Abrams on my belt when I'm running for office. That'll do the trick. And she's like, no way. She went on The View, actually, and talked about this. I'll have that for you in a second, because I really think it's I don't like her policies and don't agree with her on anything. But I thought that she has a point there when she talked about that on The View. I'll have that for you. And then the quintessential white liberal demeaning of minorities from none other than Chris Matthews. So I'm so glad that minorities are starting to come around and see the beauty of somebody who actually gets their hands dirty, gets the job done, and is inclusive like President Trump. Ben Murphy, straight ahead.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. A crisis on the U.S.-Mexico border continues to escalate, and correspondent Matt Small says there's no end in sight.
U.S. Border Patrol says the number of migrant families and children arriving at the southern border is so high that it's immediately letting them go instead of waiting to transfer them to another agency for release, forcing local governments to help coordinate housing, meals, and travel for the immigrants. This, as Mexico's Interior Minister warns that thousands more are gathering in Central America to head to the U.S., so many that she's calling it the mother of all caravans.
President Trump says his administration is taking action to secure the southern border.
We're building the wall. We'll be finishing the wall. It's moving along rapidly. We're giving out many additional contracts. We're going to be building it in many different locations simultaneously with different contractors.
The president credits congressional Republicans with turning back a Democrat attempt to thwart wall construction. Mr. Trump also telling last night's rally in Grand Rapids, Michigan, that those responsible for what he calls the Russia collusion hoax will be held accountable.
This was nothing more than a sinister effort to undermine our historic election victory and to sabotage the will of the American people.
The president's first Make America Great Again rally since the end of the Russia probe. On the day that Britain was originally scheduled to leave the European Union, lawmakers are facing what Prime Minister Theresa May's embattled government describes as the last chance to vote for Brexit. Ride-hailing service Lyft hasn't turned a profit, but it did raise $24 billion. This week's initial public offering, shares priced at $72 per share. On Wall Street, Dow futures up 126 points. S&P futures better by 13. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Still not too many delays to worry about. 270 northbound, same slow spot, Big Bend to Manchester, a little bit of a backup there. 6440 westbound, we picked up a delay, Hampton to Laclede Station, and on 64 westbound, you're slowing 15th Street to 55. The flood warning along the Mississippi River continues until further notice. And 67 southbound in Alton, that's closed between the Clark Bridge and 94 with flooding. As a result, the northbound lanes are split into one northbound and one southbound. Traffic is sponsored by Dell. Dell Small Business Technology Advisors know there's nothing small about your business. That's why they offer one-on-one partnership and reliable business PCs with Intel Core processors to help you get business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL. That's 877-BUY-DELL. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Cloudy skies today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. We'll have a high of 62. We'll have rain and a thunderstorm tonight with a low of 45. Cloudy skies tomorrow and breezy with a little rain, the high 47. Clear to partly cloudy and chilly tomorrow night. There will be a freeze with a low of 31. Plenty of sunshine to wrap up the weekend on Sunday, but it will be chilly with a high of 48. I'm Drew Shannon with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Mortgage interest rates dip further. A Volkswagen recall, and can Uber and Lyft actually make a real profit? Those stories next.
Have you ever seen a pest controller spraying chemicals in your home? It makes you wonder, if their chemicals are safe, then why do they suit up and wear respirators only to leave you to walk back in unprotected? G'day, I'm Scott from Plug-in Pest Free, and I'm here to tell you there's a better way. In an age where we now have the choice to drive electric cars, you too can electronically rid your home or business of unwanted rodents and pests. The answer is Plug-in Pest Free. 100% chemical-free, Plug-in Pest Free is your safest bet for your family and pets. Our bestseller, the Plug-in Pest Free Pro, will cover up to 4,000 square feet. Now that's fair dinkum. So order yours today at gopestfree.com. Use promo code SAVE20 for 20% off plus free shipping and a 60-day money-back guarantee. That's gopestfree.com, promo code SAVE20. Don't spray and regret. Plug in and forget. GoPestFree.com today.
Buying a home is getting cheaper after the Fed's decision to put its interest rate hikes on hold for this year. Mortgage buyer Freddie Mac says the average 30-year fixed interest rate plunged to 4.06% this week, down 0.25% over the past week, the biggest weekly drop in a decade. Volkswagen recalling more than 50,000 cars and SUVs because of rear coil springs that break without warning. Wall Street continues to wonder whether ride-hailing giants Uber and Lyft can actually turn popularity into profit. Lyft stock begins trading on the NASDAQ today. Ride-sharing carrier Uber expected to go public sometime later this year. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Larry Elder explains how things are getting better in America.
You look at the after-tax income of the top 1% since 79, and it's grown impressively, but so has the growth of the bottom of the country also grown. And as a result of falling prices here in this country, more Americans have more income left after basic expenses. Things are getting better in America.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 5 on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer. Breaking news. Stimulating talk.
Imagine doing one thing that gives you an entirely different perspective about your place in the world. Think it would be worth it? Dennis Prager here, inviting you to join me for a 10-day Stand With Israel tour, a tour through the land of Israel in December 2019. Come with me to get first-hand insight into Israel's fascinating past and promising future. Walk the ancient temple steps, sail on the Sea of Galilee, and so many more unforgettable moments. Return home inspired, renewed, and empowered. If you've ever dreamed of seeing Israel, this is your opportunity. With expert guides and important lectures at key sites, we'll be together in the comfort and safety of luxurious accommodations the whole time. Join me for a life-changing adventure to give you a renewed sense of purpose.
Join Dennis Prager and Mike Gallagher for an unforgettable guided tour through Israel this December 2nd through 11th. Book your trip now at theanswerstl.com. Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3.
Good morning this morning, everybody. Happy Friday to all of you people out there. Good morning this morning, Boy, I'll tell you what. Haven't seen a Cardinal game where the Cardinals lost where I've been happy. And I got to tell you, man, this team's a good team, and they were really good yesterday. They got beaten by a really amazing, incredible catch. that would have tied the game. So we don't know whether it actually would have actually wound up winning the game. It would have tied the game. But it was home run central out there. And Colton Wong having a really great first game. You never know how that's all going to turn out. But I'm happy for Colton Wong, who sometimes has had issues in the past. But it was a great game. And we had a 3-0 lead. We shouldn't have ever wasted. But again, once again, I hope we don't have another season where we're just watching leads slip away because our pitching isn't holding up. That's just the worst feeling in the world. All right, so let me get this real quick before I get to Ben Murphy and finish up my thought on the white liberal Democrat establishment, which I maintain is does not consider black people or minorities to really be meaningful players in their parties. They usually like them as hood ornaments. And I say hood ornament because I always think of Joe Biden as a Camaro driver. And certainly this idea that maybe Stacey Abrams can be your vice president, like she's just an object. Now, again, I don't respect Stacey Abrams. I don't respect her policies. I don't agree with her policies. I don't think she's that intelligent when it comes to policy. But I will tell you that I have to admire her when she was asked about this on the View, and I think she should stand up for this because she shouldn't let these white liberals get away with using them as objects and as hood ornaments and adornments. I mean, you saw what happened with Ocasio-Cortez. Again, no love lost with her, but when she dared even suggest that Nancy Pelosi might not be House Speaker again, it didn't take but a week and a half to shut her up because Nancy Pelosi's like, okay, cutie, you need to be quiet or we're going to primary your ass. That's what she was telling her. Anyway, here's Stacey Abrams on the View. Here,
now they're talking about you being on the ticket with Joe Biden. He hasn't even declared yet, and he would take you the idea is to take you as a vice president to bolster his numbers in the primary. What do you think about that?
I think you don't run for second place. I think my responsibility
that is a good answer.
Wow.
Yeah, good for her. I like that. I'm seriously, good for her to stand up for herself and stand up to the white liberal establishment that just wants to kind of use her to advance their own political goals. I mean, it just seems, but it's not surprising coming from a party and a left-wing media that loves to trumpet this idea, but it's no surprise because I don't know whether you remember one of my favorite sound bites ever, which I use as the quintessential white liberal response to black advancement. I don't know why blacks are constantly tricked into getting in bed with this party, but I have no idea why. But I don't know what it is. But here's Chris Matthews. This is a while back. This is from this is one of my funniest bits. This is from 2013 when Chris Matthews was talking about Barack Obama possibly being on Mount Rushmore. Thanks, guys at Newsbusters.
Good evening. I'm Chris Matthews in Washington. Let me start tonight with this big one. Is Barack Obama going for it? Is he set on becoming one of the great presidents in history? I'm not talking about Mount Rushmore, but perhaps the level right below it.
So there's Chris Matthews talking about how amazing Barack Obama is, but he's still not good enough to be on Mount Rushmore. Maybe just a level below it. I'm telling you, save that soundbite, save that piece right there, because that tells you everything you need to know about the white liberal establishment in the media and in the party. All right. Meantime, ladies and gentlemen, it's Ben Murphy. How you doing, man?
I'm never better, Jamie. How you doing this morning?
Good to see you over at the Lincoln Days. It turned out to be a very successful event over there.
Well, it was successful. It was
packed.
Somewhat shocking when Senator Blunt's name was mentioned by Sheriff Joe.
Oh.
Jamie, now you were with us early on, but you had to go.
I had to get going,
So you didn't hear this.
No. I wasn't even there for the speech. I just kind of stepped in, said hello, and had to go do some family stuff.
During the speech, Sheriff Joe mentioned Blunt's name in reference to the Dirty Dozen, being a member of that Dirty Dozen that voted against the president.
Yeah.
And it wasn't full-out ruckus boos. But you know how when the crowd goes, oh, it was one of those.
Well, what do you mean? You mean that were they concerned that he was calling Blunt out?
No, they were showing their disdain
for Blunt
for that vote.
Okay, good.
Straight
good.
up,
yeah.
as well as not only was the Republican faithful in the form of committee persons in St. Louis County and state reps and such, but also your listeners, our listeners. Jamie, I was thoroughly, I'll tell you what, I'll take that beating because I took a beating over my fence-sitting, soft-pedaling that vote.
Well, all you did was say you were going to wait and see to get a response from him, right?
Well, and you were right. The response we got was the response everybody got. It was the form letter saying that, the same old thing. Well, I'm afraid that maybe later somebody will use this as an excuse to blah, blah, whatever.
That's a horrible excuse.
It was.
Against
well, it's what it was. And I got to tell you, Jim, listener Jim, who called in, I heard him call me out for that response.
Oh, really?
People within America First Mo called me out for that response, as well as, Jamie, I can't find a single person. I really can't, and maybe I'm not talking to the people that would support the senator on that vote, but I haven't talked to a single person that said, yeah, well, I get it. Now, I'm thinking maybe it was a pragmatic thing, and I'm kind of taking my cue from the president. Did you see where the president went after this group of senators, or is he keeping his powder dry, knowing that he's going to need their help? Has he called out any of them?
No, he actually has not.
No, he's not.
And I understand that. I mean, he's got to play the game too, I think, to a certain degree. And I'm not quite sure whether he had some kind of a deal or an arrangement with Blunt before this. If he did, I hope he didn't. Because I don't think there was any excuse for Blunt to vote against it, especially given that excuse. Now, keep in mind, Rand Paul, and again, this is weird because I don't want to be two-faced about this, but Rand Paul's vote was expected because Rand Paul is one of these guys who, but even if you're a constitutionalist, I'm not quite sure how you still go against this because the declaration of an emergency is entirely constitutional. It's entirely a power that has been reinforced by Congress. So if you have something against this, then go and change the clause, the law that allows an emergency declaration, but don't attack the president for using a power that has been essentially granted to him by Congress. I don't see how you can attack the president for that or even vote against it. You're voting against yourselves because you gave him the power.
You're exactly right. And I get your point. And let's talk about Rand Paul a little bit. The Conservative Review gives Rand Paul a 96% conservative voting record. 96%, Jamie. And that's a career number for Rand. In contrast with our Senator Roy Blunt, he rolls with a career score of 37% conservative.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. So, yet now I wonder how many times, based on those numbers, how many times he actually sides with Rand Paul. I imagine few and far between. And I have to mention that when we look at the Conservative Review rating for our new senator, Josh Hawley, how do you throw a wild guess out?
83%?
I was shocked. It's 100%.
Wow.
Wow. Can you?
Well, I mean, he's still new, but
he's new. So, but the point is, he's voting in 100% conservative.
Right
now, somehow and that's in this session. He's got 4 points on Rand Paul in this session at 96%. Josh Hawley.
Wow.
Thank you, Senator.
Well, and here's a guy in Hawley who a lot of us were suspicious of.
That's right. So I'm completely pleased. And Roy Blunt, he's got his wife and 4 kids who are all lobbyists. So can you imagine the money he must be pulling in lobbying contracts for him and for his wife and his family based on that Never Trump vote? So I follow the money. I think he was throwing bones to his lobbyist contributors, and it's probably paying off for him real well.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, because I do believe that, and we talked a little bit about this earlier, I do believe that the idea somehow, and I think you all get this, by the way, it's nothing new on you, but I do believe that the Republicans are at least equally responsible for the illegal immigrant problem that we have right now. Wouldn't you say?
Well, there's no question. You know, without the Republican and Democrat establishment over these years, they've kept us. They've voted time and again to fund the wall in previous administrations, yet they've never wrote the check, and the wall's not there. So they're both responsible for this this invasion, and now we've got a super caravan coming our way of 20,000. I understand.
20 from where?
All points south, I suppose.
Goodness gracious!
I just heard that one last night.
But the thing is, though, too, and this is the problem. I use this stat a lot because if you look at what's happening with because a lot of it is not only in the laws we have, but it's the enforcement of the laws. And what we found throughout the last 25 years or so is, for instance, a Bill Clinton administration being far tougher on employers who are hiring illegals than GW was. And precisely because GW and the Republican Party, I believe, were serving some of their corporate masters in pursuing and just simply looking the other way when it came to illegal immigration. Because part of the problem is if you started to really go after the businesses that are hiring illegal immigrants, I'm talking about a ton of illegal immigrants. I'm not talking about the one guy with the lawn care service who hires an illegal whatever. I'm talking about the people who have 200 of these guys. They know. They don't even question whether they're not legal. I'm talking about these people. But if you would attack these people, you'd turn off the spigot there. You'd turn off the attraction to coming to this country if you thought that there was a good possibility that ICE was going to be knocking on the door in a matter of days. So I think that's really an important consideration to make. And now we have a situation where the president, this is where we really need to make sure that we kind of keep our fangs in the president here, because he's doing an unbelievably great job with almost everything except for his support of, and inexplicably Mike Lee and some of these other Republicans support it, the expansion of the H-1B program, which is going to actually increase the number of green card carriers from India and China coming into this country, taking tech jobs away from Americans. And so the president inexplicably is supporting the expansion of this program. Ted Cruz supports it. Mike Lee supports it. I'm thinking, what are you guys thinking? This is the worst possible news coming out of the Republican Party that we could possibly imagine.
Jamie, I don't know if it's the worst possible news we can imagine, but you know, I'm going to guess that these H-1B visa holders coming in, they're not rolling in and jumping on the public dole.
No.
You know, I give them that. And if you know, the president is so overwhelmed, in my opinion, yet he is methodically going down this road. And, you know, I want to throw something out that, goes right down some people would say, conspiracy rat hole. But I had a guy at my church come up to me. He's a good Republican, if you will. And he said, what do you think about that latest Q drop? And I said, the Q drop? He said, yeah. He said, we're Q people.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I saw that.
Did you see
that? I saw that video.
Well, there's tons of videos out, and some people call it a conspiracy, but along the line, the big picture goes like this. Within the intelligence community, there is someone very close to the president who is sending out messages to the people that the president and his team are on it in terms of draining the swamp. And this goes to what they're telling us is, through these Q drops, is that big picture, there are indictments coming. And it's a big deal, and it's everybody from Hillary to Clapper to Brennan to...
Oh, good.
And I'll tell you, the Q people, they are hook, line, and sinker. They're believers. I'm wanting to believe. I'm going to tell you, I really want to believe that we'll see justice. If we don't see indictments, I mean, we might not get a conviction, and Hillary Clinton's never going to spend a day in the joint. But if we can at least get indictments, Jamie, and then have the trials, if you will, if there's no justice, I fear for President Trump's reelection.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Unless we see hammered down on these people who have flat out attempted a coup.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Was that you this morning calling it Nuremberg-like trials?
No, I want to have a Nuremberg type trial. I want to have them all in one trial. I want to have them all in one box in
all
the courtroom, sitting there together.
I agree. And Jamie, I fear that anything short of indictments, and the whole laundry list of them, every one of them, indict them. And then bring the evidence forth and see if we can get some convictions.
Yeah, Clapper and Brennan are two I really would be satisfied seeing on the hook. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm telling you, those two guys, they're worse than people even can possibly imagine. I mean, they're actually worse than we know.
And I'll tell you what, and why do we still have to talk about Senator McCain? And I was throughout that entire deal, and that guy couldn't have died fast enough for me. Flat out. You know what? Don't speak ill of the dead. Nobody's missing him except for his family. God bless him. Whatever. Right, and the Democrats who love him. But the fact is, he was involved in this dirty dossier report.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one that shuffled it because, he thought it was the right thing to do. He had to shuffle that over to the FBI.
I do have to take a break here, buddy, because it's already 8:23, so I'm a little past that. But we'll come back with Ben Murphy, and your phone calls are welcome. Call Tammy.com. Real estate listener line is 844-855-1380.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Well, we're back to just one delay, and that's on 270 northbound, Big Bend to Manchester. It hasn't gotten any worse, which is good. 6440 westbound is clear. 64 westbound, all good. We do have that flood warning continuing along the Mississippi River until further notice. And in Alton, flooding has 67 southbound closed between the Clark Bridge and 94, and as a result, the two northbound lanes are split into one northbound and one southbound for traffic. And two right lanes are closed on 15 westbound between 157 and Pocket until April 1st. Traffic is sponsored by Dell. Dell Small Business Technology Advisors know there's nothing small about your business. That's why they offer one-on-one partnership and reliable business PCs with Intel Core processors to help you get business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL. That's 877-BUY-DELL. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
I really do love the fact that Michael's Flooring Outlet and Michael Reynolds, who is the owner of Michael's Flooring Outlet, is always very, very hungry for your business. Hungry for your business because he knows he can help you, because he loves what he does. If you've ever sat and talked to Michael about the flooring business, you would see this passion that is just amazing. And it's an outgrowth of the fact that he started his company with just $700 some 25 years ago. And he's very proud of the fact that he does such a great job and that he makes so many people happy, not only with the quality of what he has to offer, but also with the prices of what he is giving you in terms of the value and also the installation. And here's another example when it comes to value. You pop on michaelsflooringoutlet.com right now, you're going to get a pop-up of a coupon, tax refund sale up to $500 off. And this is going through June 3rd, because he knows sometimes that you're a little late getting your refunds or that kind of thing. And so $500 off the next project, that's a pretty good chunk when it comes to you buying the awesome wood flooring, the new product that he has, which is a kind of a faux wood flooring that will not dent and will not stain and will not warp or anything else, no matter what you spill on it. So if you have always wanted wood in a high traffic area in your home, you can have it. It's not really wood, it just looks like it. So if you want that country kitchen look or whatever it happens to be, you can still have that in your kitchen and it'll look like wood. It's fantastic. Also, ceramic tiling, laminates, and the carpeting is all great for you. Now, $500 off with Michael's Flooring Outlet in St. Peter's, Creve Coeur, Darden Prairie, as well as Florissant. It's michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Rick Pogue here with Arrowhead Building Supply, the region's #1 specialty exterior building supplier. Arrowhead has the widest range of exterior products, from the most economical and commodity items to our highest-end outside elegance collection. If you need a contractor, Arrowhead supplies products to hundreds of the best contractors and builders in the business. Call us for a contractor referral and rest easy. The Arrowhead Cube Home Visualizer tool means you can upload an actual photo of your home and change it with just a touch of your finger. Now you can be 100% confident in your selections before they are installed in your home. Our product showrooms are the largest and most beautiful in the industry. We make it simple to experience a full range of siding, roofing, window, door, deck, and even stone options for your home or business. Check us out at arrowheadbuildingsupply.com or visit an Arrowhead showroom near you today in St. Peters, Missouri, Peebly, Missouri, and Fairview Heights, Illinois. Arrowhead Building Supply. Building supplies for building success. arrowheadbuildingsupply.com.
Hey, ladies and gents, I'm just talking to Ben about the MyPillow, and he's another happy customer of the MyPillow. Says his wife went through hundreds of dollars of pillows trying to find the exact right one, and then found it with the awesome MyPillow product, brought to you by Mike Lindell and his team over there. And now you can get a hold of a great package of the MyPillow. I've been a customer for a long time as well, and really love my MyPillow, my pillow. And let me tell you something. It is now getting an entire package ready for you, where you have two of the MyPillows coming with two of the to-go MyPillows. So they've got the pillows that you have for your home and the ones you can easily take with you so that you can have the MyPillow comfort and joy wherever you happen to be. On top of that, and then, by the way, free shipping, too, when you use the promo code Jamie. On top of that, they have the Giza Dream Sheets, and these Dream Sheets are beautiful. The cotton is grown over in the Middle East, where the Sahara and the Nile and everything come together, which is perfect conditions for growing cotton. And Mr. Lindell and the team actually put together their sheets that way. These are sheets that are going to keep you cool while you sleep and keep you comfortable, and you might as well be at a luxury hotel. That's how you're going to feel when you use the Giza Dream Sheets. Here's how you get them. You go to mypillow.com/Jamie, mypillow.com/Jamie. That's the promo code for you to get both the pillows as well as the sheets. Or 800-964-3187, 800-964-3187, promo code Jamie.
Listen to Allman in the Morning with Alexa. Wake up and say, Alexa, play The Answer St. Louis. Now, back to Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Yes, everybody. We are going to take a break here. Come back with Ben Murphy, who thinks he's got a big announcement. You never know with Ben. We're going to talk to him also about the closed primary versus the open primary. And Bob, if you want to hang on the line, we've got to take a break. But if you want to come back with the H-1B visa discussion, that's fine too. We'd love to talk to you about that. Our phone lines are open. Call Tammy.com real estate line 844-855-1380. It's Common Sense Radio.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. A crisis on the U.S.-Mexico border continues to escalate. Border Patrol says so many people being detained that they can't all be held. Some of them have to be let go. President Trump says his administration is taking action to secure the southern border by building the wall, despite Democrat objections. The president also telling a big rally last night in Grand Rapids, Michigan, that those responsible for what he calls the Russia collusion hoax will be held accountable for their actions. It was the president's first Make America Great Again rally since the end of the Russia investigation. On the day that Britain was originally scheduled to leave the EU, lawmakers facing what Prime Minister May's embattled government describes as the last chance to vote for Brexit. Wall Street, the Dow has opened up 149 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We're looking at 2 delays at this hour. We've got one on 270 northbound still, just Big Bend to Manchester with that slow spot. And then 6440 westbound backed up Hampton to Laclede Station Road. Midday work today, 9 to 3 on eastbound and westbound 44 between Grand and 70. And in Alton, 67 southbound is still closed between the Clark Bridge and 94. Now, the 2 northbound lanes of 67 are split, one going northbound and the other one southbound to pick up that traffic. And traffic is sponsored by Dell. Dell Small Business Technology Advisors know there's nothing small about your business. That's why they offer one-on-one partnership and reliable business PCs with Intel Core processors to help you get business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL. That's 877-BUY-DELL. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Cloudy skies today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. We'll have a high of 62. We'll have rain and a thunderstorm tonight with a low of 45. Cloudy skies tomorrow and breezy with a little rain, the high 47. Clear to partly cloudy and chilly tomorrow night. There will be a freeze with a low of 31. Plenty of sunshine to wrap up the weekend on Sunday, but it will be chilly with a high of 48. I'm Drew Shannon with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
Hey, I'm Billy Kinder, host of Big Billy Kinder Outdoors. If you enjoy hunting, fishing, or just God's great creation, then you'll want to join me in the Camp House. We travel all over these great United States, bringing hunting and fishing opportunities your way, plus special guests and knowledgeable pros. Big Billy Kinder Outdoors, Saturday mornings at 5 on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
Brought to you by Denny Dennis Sporting Goods and Fenton, specializing in fitted guns for protection or the outdoors enthusiast. Like them on Facebook to get in on their weekly specials.
This is Scott Ferguson, the Director of Outreach at St. Matthew United Methodist Church in Belleville, Illinois. If you're presently looking for a church home, we would love for you to join the church family at St. Matthew. We have 3 Sunday morning services, the 8 a.m. traditional service, 9:17 is our contemporary service, and the 10:45 a blended service with a full choir and orchestra. You can find additional information at our website, stmatthewumc.org. We'd love to see you on Sunday morning.
Dana Lash.
They think that your money that you make is first the government's, and that the government, then you get whatever the government doesn't spend. That's how they honestly think. These people are meant to be serfs. They have this mentality of like serfdom. I don't know how else to describe it. I cannot imagine having that mentality to think that the government owns the fruit of my labor before I do. Oh, HAIL, no. No. That's not how any of this works.
The Dana Show. Weekdays at 1 on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Did you know that every dollar you put into a piece of real estate makes you money 5 ways? Cash flow, money in your pocket each month. Equity capture, the thousands of dollars you create when you have the right team and buy the right property using the right map. Appreciation, real estate doubles in value about every 20 years. Equity buildup, renters pay down your mortgage each month. And finally, the tax advantage. We pay almost no taxes on our cash flow and capital gains. These are the 5 ways we make money in real estate, which is why real estate accounts for more millionaires in the world today than any other investment vehicle. You should have some real estate in your portfolio. To learn how, attend one of our free workshops. Call 866-971-8970 or go to 5waysweMakeMoney.com and register for the next available workshop. That's 866-971-8970 or go to 5waysweMakeMoney.com.
The Ed Martin Movement this afternoon at 3. Now, Allman in the Morning continues on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Yes, indeed, everybody. Call Tammy.com real estate listener line is 844-855-1380. On here with Ben Murphy, and over the break you saw what Phil put up there on the screen there, that image from Taxi Driver. And we started to get into a discussion about whether or not that might be one of the biggest disappointment in modern recent history is the realization that Robert De Niro was a jackass. Being such a great actor as he is, it's just so disappointing. You can barely even look at it without being just disgusted now. You know, normally I don't really take a person's politics out on their art, but with De Niro, it's a different story. He's just now deteriorated into just one big jackass, and that's just sad. And then Ben was lamenting, he thought maybe one of the other ones was the discovery that Rock Hudson was gay. I'm like, you didn't know that? By just, you know.
I thought him and Doris Day were like legit, but that was a cover. Just saying, I mean, you know.
Listen to Ben's dreams being dashed right before our very eyes. You know, him and Doris Day, I thought that was a thing. I didn't know. Then we got
hook, line, and sinker.
Then we got into the days when nobody really cared. It was so fantastic. It was like, you know, we talked about Charles Nelson Riley. I never even knew what Charles. All I know is that he was on the Match Game, and I never really knew what Charles Nelson Riley did outside of that. Apparently, he was like a Broadway actor or something, right?
I loved him on Hollywood Squares. He was had the best
Hollywood
jokes.
Squares, and Paul Lynde was just hilarious.
Absolutely.
And Phil brought up that one guy with the mustache who threw. You think his name is Rip? I don't know. In those days where people were just, it was just, nobody cares, funny. Remember the whole get up, like, it would never happen now, but remember the whole Foster Brooks get up? Foster Brooks was always, it was so hilarious because he played the drunk guy.
We had Foster Brooks at a private event, and he gave his routine for us back in the day. Yeah, it was pretty hilarious.
Is Foster Brooks dead?
He's got to be gone. Oh, yeah, he's long gone. I'm afraid.
And Paul Lynde was funny, man. He was funny when he was like the guy on Bewitched, right? Wasn't he one of the witches or something?
Yes, he was.
He was great. I just loved him.
I love the 70s.
Oh, you absolutely have to. It's just, you know, some of the funniest people were the gay guys. You know, it's fantastic. Bob, what's up? You're on line one, buddy. How you doing?
Yes, I'd like to talk. About the H-1 visas for technology people.
Yes, sir.
We have a serious problem here in the Midwest. We have huge numbers of people basically wasting their talents in Silicon Valley, California, and Route 125 in Boston. These people are very elitist. They won't come to the Midwest and work here. They will starve to death in California doing contract work at relatively low wages when they could make huge salaries here in St. Louis and Ohio and Indiana, Michigan. For example, 3 examples. I was listening to a man who had starved. He and his wife both had PhDs in science and engineering in Silicon Valley. For 3 years, they were doing low-level contract work, and they kept refusing to do work in the Midwest. Finally, they got desperate because they were running out of money, and they took a job with a company in Ohio at a very high salary for both of them. They were met at the airport by the president of the company. He had already chosen a house for them in a prestige neighborhood, gave them a country club membership, and simply said, try us for 6 months and see if you like us. And at the end of 6 months, they said, we had everything we ever dreamed of in Silicon Valley and could never get. So he said, would you call some of your friends and ask them to come, and we'll give them the exact same package if they will come to Ohio and work for our manufacturing company. And this man and his wife called 100 of their friends in Silicon Valley, and not one of them would come to Ohio, and every one of them denounced them as traitors to Silicon Valley because they were making huge salaries with all these benefits in Ohio. The same thing happened with a guy was talking about, this was the governor of Ohio. He said, we no longer even advertise in the journals, technical journals in Silicon Valley, because he said we've wasted millions of dollars and we haven't been able to get even one person to leave Silicon Valley and come to Ohio. And he said we are now focusing on training our own people who are born and raised in Ohio and giving them special scholarships and all kinds of money so they will study mathematics, biology, chemistry, physics, engineering, computer science. About 20% of all the people in the Detroit area are now Muslims from all over the foreign countries, and the vast majority of them are scientists and engineers who came to the United States to make big money that the Silicon Valley and Route 128 Boston people won't do. And again, this is a serious problem with our people complaining that the jobs are being taken away by lower-wage technology people from China, Korea, India, but they won't come to the Midwest where there's a desperate need. My cousin is a mechanical engineer in Silicon Valley, and she admits that you'll have 5, 6, and 7 people crowded into 2- and 3-bedroom apartments because they're so expensive, and they're all doing low contract work, but they won't come to the Midwest because it's considered selling out to the man or selling out to the the greed, you know. And right now, I did a survey of one of our junior colleges here, and I couldn't find one kid as I walked around the campus who was studying calculus. And calculus is the absolute minimum for getting a degree in mathematics, biology, chemistry, physics, engineering, computer science. Meanwhile, we have thousands of Koreans, Chinese, and Indians in West County living in prestigious neighborhoods. Most of them are now millionaires. They came from halfway around the world to do the jobs in St. Louis that the people in Silicon Valley and Boston would not come to do. And they're now all millionaires while the American people are starving in Silicon Valley and starving in Boston because they think it's beneath their dignity to come to the Midwest where the yahoos and the hillbillies live.
Yeah, all right, Bob. Well, I appreciate the insight. I guess that's a pretense for approving of the H-1B visa program expansion. But for every anecdote you might have, I have another one, and I'll tell you the experience with Michael Proctor. Proctor spelled like doctor. Proctor had raped his son Brandon, who graduated from Washington University in chemical engineering or microbiology. I can't remember which one it was, and could not get a job in St. Louis. He wanted to work he's now in Kansas City because he had to adjust, but he graduated from WashU and was more than willing to work in the St. Louis area, and in fact saw the person who took his job is the one came from the job he applied for, came in on an H-1B visa. So I don't know what the issue is with people not coming from Silicon Valley or Massachusetts or whatever it is to come and work in the Midwest. It still is not a solution to have the government create an entire program and fund an entire program that purposely competes against its own people. We have engineers in Rolla, and we have people who are doing coding here in St. Louis and at tech schools in St. Louis. I don't know what community college you went to, and maybe they aren't doing calculus there, but they're doing calculus at Rolla. They're doing calculus at WashU. They're doing calculus and other calculations at tech schools and at coding laboratories here in St. Louis. So these are people, there are Americans out there who will work. And this idea that these people are getting rich, I don't believe that because these people who are coming here are not the best and brightest from India and China. They're just dirt cheap labor, and they're coming with the promise of citizenship and also for their families. Another example I'll give you is my brother-in-law who worked for AT&T a while back, had to actually sat there and had the indignity of having to train these people from India to replace him. So I know that I'm sure that I don't doubt the veracity of your anecdotes, but I'm saying that there are other anecdotes out there that show that there are plenty of American workers for these jobs here, and there is absolutely no excuse for the government of the United States to purposely set up a system that competes with their own people. There's nothing moral. And there's nothing defensible about it. I'm just telling you. So anyway, and I don't want the president to support this. I don't want him to be fooled by the corporate swampets who are claiming that they need this, because they don't. They just want the cheap labor, and that's not defensible. Anyway,
Jamie, what do you got on subpoenas in St. Louis County regarding our county executive Steve Stenger? You heard anything on this?
Well, all I know is that there have been subpoenas, and that Steve Stenger says he's cooperating, and he says he's not the target of the investigation.
Well, he's not the only one that's got a subpoena. He's got 7 of his staffers. I don't know which one of those might be the target. They all look like they're probably in on it. But, Ernie Trachis led the charge and has for the last 2 years, pushing for transparency on how Steve Stenger has paid all these people and where all this money has gone to his donors in the form of contracts. Also subpoenaed has been the St. Louis Economic Development Partnership and the Port Authority. And the surprise subpoenas to Better Together. All of this stuff is connected in some way, but it's a circus. We know it's a circus. They've had to go back and pull the petition and get that thing rewritten and get Stenger's, not necessarily his name off of it, but the way that they will who will become the mayor if the Better Together people prevail.
Yeah, right.
So they've had to redo it. Now they'll have the third time. Maybe the third time's the charm. But I've got a different theory on this whole Better Together thing, because you have to believe one of two things. You have to believe either these people are so incompetent and so oblivious to what the people really think that they're going to put together this plan and try to slam dunk it on the people of St. Louis County and the city through a statewide vote. Do you believe that that's legit, that they really think that's what they can do? Or do you believe maybe that's the distraction, get the public riled up against it, and then in rides the freeholder deal,
right?
That's going to save the day. But in the end, Jamie, the freeholder deal will be a plan to merge the city and the county.
Right. So what is exactly what is the insinuation that is being made by people who are observing this? Obviously, with the caveat that everybody is innocent until proven guilty unless they're Donald Trump. But what is the insinuation? Is there some claim or some insinuation, or has Ernie given you any information about how? Is there a possibility that this was an outgrowth of what? Contracts in exchange for campaign donations? Is that what this is about?
Well, that's definitely part of it.
Right.
But also, the St. Louis Economic Development Partnership and this Port Authority, those are inventions of Steve Stinger's, is the way I understand it. And that these operations, follow the money, and I haven't done that, but they were served subpoenas. Those operations have been served subpoenas. For their records, and this is all stemming from a 13-page report that Councilmember Tracus submitted to the U.S. Attorney, who has, impaneled a grand jury.
Right.
And then they've issued these subpoenas. So that's coming down the tracks.
So why do we have a port authority in St. Louis County? What port are they authorizing or authoritying over?
We do have the Mississippi River. Does that qualify as
I don't know.
port?
I'm just trying to figure out
I have no idea.
Why we have a port authority in St. Louis County. I don't know.
I have no idea. I really don't.
Unless they monitor the criminal import terminals known as the Metrolink stations.
We used to just call those the mugger mover.
Mugger mover. Like Disney has the people mover, but yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
you mean the shoplifter importer for the Galleria?
Well, the chief of police over in Richmond Heights said that as soon as they opened up that terminal
right
there,
across the street
from the mall, that it was a hockey stick graph of the crime in his community. So the thing went through the roof.
I know.
I'm sure there's just a coincidence.
I know, but it was the hockey stick graph is absolutely zero doubt. I mean, it's unbelievable what's going on with that whole thing. So that's interesting. So now the Better Together thing, though, is that adjacent to the Stinger thing then?
We're believing at this point, some of us are, that there's got to be a connection somehow, that this is all the wrapping up, merging the city and the county, not only to bail out the city, but possibly to deep six and cover up all manner of corruption.
Yeah.
Well, who knows? I'm not so deep into it to understand what they're thinking, but I got to say this. So Rex Singfeld, so he's a big chess playing guru, right?
Yeah, man, that's a really cool thing down there.
Yeah, it's very cool, and so he's a strategist. It's all about strategy. And for me to believe that he bankrolled this Better Together scam for the purpose of merging the city and the county for whatever benefit it may be for him.
Yeah.
To believe that he put all of his eggs in that basket, that doesn't make sense from a strategist, a brilliant man by all accounts. But if he had in his back pocket, riding to the defense, the freeholder deal, which is constitutional in Missouri, to convene a board of freeholders, well, the county executive, Democrat, and Lyda Crewson, Democrat, will make the appointments. We've been over this. We'll make the appointments to that board of freeholders, And, you can just imagine that, it's going to be even Democrats and Republicans, but you can imagine the establishment-type Republicans that will be appointed to that will then tell us that their plan's the great plan and it's fair and it's the right thing to do and kumbaya and blah, blah, blah. And, I can see that coming.
Yeah,
I just can.
And technically, they might be subpoenaing it together, but there's nothing illegal about strategizing. So maybe they're just trying to get
saying anything
that
Rex has done is illegal.
Right,
I'm just saying what he's up to in terms of getting what he wants.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's from Better Together.
I
think that's the big distraction.
Yeah. All right, I got to take a break here. Your phone calls are welcome. Call Tammy.com, real estate listener line, 844-855-1380. And we come back, at least we're going to finish this out. And Maxie, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you, Doug Giles is hunting. He texted me yesterday, and I'm sorry I didn't tell you. So I know poor Max has been trying to call Doug Giles to get him on. I didn't bother to tell my producer that Doug Giles is hunting. He texted me like late last night saying, "Hey, I'm hunting tomorrow. I'll be back with a freezer full of meat on
producers.
Sunday." Yeah, right, exactly. So we're going to miss Doug Giles this morning, but we're going to come back. We're going to talk to Ben about the latest regarding the closed open primary thing, which really it's not going to happen if it does happen until 2022. So there's no real concern about the 2020 election at this point, but we'll talk more about that. It's Common Sense Radio, 844-855-1380.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Well, this was another one of those rush hours that really never quite got off the ground. 270 northbound. It was our first delay, and it's our last delay. Big Bend to Manchester is a little bit tight. Everything else wide open in that regard. We do have construction, though. You've got the on-ramp from Grand to westbound 44 closed with roadwork until the 1st of July. And the on-ramp from Broadway to westbound 6440, that's closed with roadwork just until April 3rd. And 67 southbound in Alton still closed between the Clark Bridge and 94 with flooding. Traffic is sponsored by Dell. Dell Small Business Technology Advisors know there's nothing small about your business. That's why they offer one-on-one partnership and reliable business PCs with Intel Core processors to help you get business done. Call 877-BY-DELL. That's 877-BY-DELL. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Hey, folks, let me tell you something about Matthew Mitchell and the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency, 855-QUOTE-ME. And Matthew has wanted me to tell you that the Allstate Agency, one of the reasons why when I talk about low premiums, low deductibles, and all the different kinds of machinations that Matthew can make to make things really easy for you, whereas otherwise the other companies are all the cookie-cutter guys or the 800 number guys or the people who have the website, and that's pretty much it. But Allstate is a different animal. It's the largest publicly traded insurance company in America. So they've got a $40 billion portfolio. And so they're really sitting pretty high when it comes to the Fortune 100 people. And so when you need Allstate, they have your back at all times because they don't have to nickel and dime you. Sometimes these agencies, the way they get along is by just scrapping for every dime. And that means, sometimes increasing your deductibles while saying, hey, look, we got low premiums for you, but your deductible's sky high. So it's a level of trickery that Allstate doesn't have to bother with. They've been around since 1931. And so they're one of the most trusted stock companies. The insurance is about access to money, folks. And if your insurance company is broke or losing money, then they're going to take it out of your hide. And Allstate doesn't have to do that. And they basically unleash the likes of Matthew and his local Allstate team to help you at all costs and make sure that you have the right people on your side and you have that local flavor, and also you have that local flavor that is simply an extension of a big company that makes a lot of money and therefore has a lot of wiggle room. They don't make a lot of money by screwing their people. They make a lot of money by simply having people on their rolls who enjoy the great service of the Allstate Agency, and Matthew is a great ambassador for that vibe. 855-QUOTE-ME. It's the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency, 855-QUOTE-ME.
Business owners, self-employed, part-time employees, are you struggling to pay your bills because you no longer can afford your health insurance? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. With Obamacare premiums skyrocketing, higher deductibles, and shrinking networks, let me introduce you to Dryden Camus Insurance Agency as the answer, the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency has non-Obamacare ACA-compliant plans that do not fund abortion. There's no enrollment period, and you don't have to pay for expensive extras like pediatric dentistry or maternity care. Contact Joyce at Dryden Camus Insurance Agency and start saving up to 60%. Call 877-695-0245. That's 877-695-0245, or just go to kddi-ins.com. Cut through the confusion and save money with Dryden Camus Insurance Agency, serving Missouri and Illinois. This is the answer. This is the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency. Just go to kddi-ins.com.
KXFN, St. Louis, K287BY, St. Louis. Hey, want to talk with Jamie? Call 844-855-1380. 844-855-1380. And interact with Common Sense Radio. This is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Allman in the Morning Show. Yes, indeed. Coming up at 9 o'clock, we're going to kind of air it out here regarding the closed primary, and then I'll let Ben Murphy start to enjoy his weekend, and then follow up on a lot of things we need to follow up on, including what you're seeing with not only the rally in Grand Rapids, which was just as awesome as we figured it was going to be. We'll follow up a little bit on the Jesse Smollett story. And what's with this Puerto Rican governor? What's with these people in Puerto Rico anyway? I mean, here you're talking to a guy who actually supports Puerto Rico statehood. And yet these people mouthing off, whether it's the mayor of San Juan or now the governor of Puerto Rico, talking about punching President Trump in the mouth. I mean, come on. Puerto Ricans should be saying, hey, shut up. You've got people who want you to be a state. I think Puerto Rico ought to be a state.
Then they can pay state tax.
What's that?
Then they could pay state tax.
Yeah, exactly. You do all that kind of stuff. I don't mind making them a state. I think it's not a bad idea. Also, we have Eric Holder out there saying that America was never great. It's like, yeah, good line, buddy. Where'd you steal that from? Marco Rubio? I'm sorry, no, Marco Rubio said America's always been great. Okay, whatever. Never been great, always been great. Man. You know, whatever. Who's just splitting hairs here? Then you've got Google, and there's a leak from Google regarding some people have, like, you know, sex harassment training and all that kind of stuff. Well, they apparently had white privilege diversity training. It's what was called white privilege diversity training. It's everything you need to know about how you think Google's a wide open field and you're getting everything you're getting when you push the search engine thing? Nah. Ben Murphy, straight ahead.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. People crossing the southern border illegally. The Border Patrol's Rodolfo Carish says they're coming literally from all over the planet.
We've actually taken into custody people from Bangladesh, from China, from India, Pakistan, Egypt, Iraq.
He spoke with KGBT-TV. President Trump says there is a crisis on the border, and that's why the administration is building the wall. The Mexican Interior Minister says another migrant caravan is now forming in Central America, and it's so large that she's calling it the mother of all caravans. Customs and Border Protection says so many illegals are crossing into the country now that it can't hold them all. This is prompting President Trump to threaten to close the border. The president calls it the collusion delusion, Mr. Trump's term for the Russia investigation, which the president terms the greatest hoax in the history of our country.
The special counsel completed its report and found no collusion and no obstruction.
The president firing up the crowd last night at a big rally in Grand Rapids, Michigan. As for Mr. Trump's popularity in the wake of the Mueller report.
Since a peak of 52% following the State of the Union address, the president's approval numbers in the Rasmussen poll have held between 47 and 49%, with his approval matching or percentage points higher than President Obama at the corresponding moments. In terms of the strongly disapprove to the strongly approve, the Rasmussen poll also shows that gap narrowing, drawing within 1% at the State of the Union address on February 11th, with the strongly approve lagging by only 4% in this latest poll. George Bonzani reporting.
Authorities in Walterboro, South Carolina, investigating the death of a 10-year-old girl. She was knocked unconscious during a fight with another fifth grader at her elementary school. The Dow's up 115 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Still not too many delays to worry about. 270 northbound, same slow spot, Big Bend to Manchester, a little bit of a backup there. 6440 westbound, we picked up a delay, Hampton to Laclede Station, and on 64 westbound, you're slowing 15th Street to 55. The flood warning along the Mississippi River continues until further notice. And 67 southbound in Alton, that's closed between the Clark Bridge and 94 with flooding. As a result, the northbound lanes are split into one northbound and one southbound. Traffic is sponsored by Dell. Dell Small Business Technology Advisors know there's nothing small about your business. That's why they offer one-on-one partnership and reliable business PCs with Intel Core processors to help you get business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL. That's 877-BUY-DELL. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
1380, The Answer. Weather.
Cloudy skies today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. We'll have a high of 62. We'll have rain and a thunderstorm tonight with a low of 45. Cloudy skies tomorrow and breezy with a little rain, the high 47. Clear to partly cloudy and chilly tomorrow night. There will be a freeze with a low of 31. Plenty of sunshine to wrap up the weekend on Sunday, but it will be chilly with a high of 48. I'm Drew Shannon with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
This is Lieutenant Colonel Denny Gillum from the Front Lines of Freedom Show. Join me every Sunday from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. The stories, the valor, the support programs, the life and death dramas, it's all here for you on Front Lines of Freedom. If you want to learn more about the greatest military in the history of the world and what's being done for our veterans, please join me right here every Sunday from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
The following statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Amberen trials tested mild to moderate symptoms. Testimonial is based on 90 days of use. Results may vary. Nielsen US XAOC 52 weeks dollar sales.
Hot flashes, night sweats, low energy. I had all those menopause symptoms. Hi, I'm Mary Lou Retton. As an athlete and winner of gold back in 1984, I've always cared about what I put in my body. That's why for menopause relief, I choose Amberen.
Amberen safely relieves 12 menopause symptoms by helping to restore your hormonal balance. Amberen is 100% drug-free and estrogen-free. Amberen is America's #1 menopause relief supplement in dollar sales.
I like the fact that Amberen is clinically tested, safe, and effective. Thanks to Amberen, my fear of hot flashes is gone. My sheets aren't soaked every night, and my energy is back. Give Amberen a try and see what it can do for you. It works. It really works.
Hurry to your Walmart, Walgreens, Target, and other fine retailers nationwide and get Amberen today.
This hour of Allman in the Morning is brought to you in part by Dr. Anna Smith. Come see what your smile can be at Dentistry with TLC.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please.
Ah, yes, baseball. Back in action. The Post-Dispatch has an interesting story about two of my favorite broadcasters, Jack Buck and Vin Scully. I love Vin Scully, man. I know you're not a baseball fan. How can you not be a I don't understand that.
Jamie, I'm a political junkie. I don't
have time for sports.
There's only so much time.
Yeah,
I rely on guys like you who dig it.
I understand. I understand. I love baseball. But here's the story from the Post. Jack Buck and Vin Scully, two of the best baseball broadcasters ever, had memorable calls for Kirk Gibson's epic 2-run home run in the bottom of the ninth inning of the game. That's when he hobbled off. We get all that. This year, the Dodgers are selling tickets to the seat where the ball ended up. along with one next to it for $300 a game, with $200 that to be given to charity. The Kirk Gibson Foundation. Sounds like a great thing. Well, the result probably will be better than the way the Dodgers promotional campaign to tout the deal began. An ad, which has since been reworked, led with the line, "I can't believe what I just saw," and attributed to Scully, who was the Dodgers announcer for 67 years before retiring. And Scully's one of us, by the way, just so you guys know. He's one of the good guys.
Top of my list.
There you go.
Okay, you got a Devo hat on me, Phil. There, you know what? My brother Jim is listening in, and I tried to get him to send my dad's picture. My brother stuck a Devo hat on my dad. Well, I got to get a screenshot of that. As a matter of fact, he just threw out props to Jamie for being such a baseball fan, because he is a baseball kook, my brother.
Dad is? Your brother?
Well, Dad, long gone.
Yeah.
But my brother, took up the mantle from my father being such a baseball fan. They loving baseball.
One of the most relaxing things I do ever is watch just baseball highlights all night long. I love watching the ESPN or whatever shows that were Baseball Tonight or whatever, MLB Tonight. I love watching baseball highlights. Anyway, if I get the TV to work, if I get one of the kids to be able to turn on the TV for me. Anyway, the trouble is Buck was the one who made the call, and he said, "I don't believe what I just saw. I don't believe what I just saw," on the national radio broadcast of that game. But they thought actually that Vin Scully said that, but it was actually Jack Buck. So the Dodgers trying to promote this big thing, but they're using Jack Buck's line, not Vin Scully's line. Isn't it crazy?
It's insane.
All right, so let's talk about this. We had a good discussion earlier this morning, about the closed primary, open primary. Now, I'm a little bit agitated about this whole thing because it's another example of where Republicans might be onto something with maybe a good idea, who knows, but it's immediately screwed up because their reason for it is absurd. So this guy from Nixa, this Republican from Nixa, says we ought to have closed primaries where basically the bottom line is the government says you have to name your party, you have to vote in that party's primary once you name that party, and you can't change your party for a year. So you can't go in and vote in one election, the next time around vote in another election with it. So you have to. It's like, first of all, those people who are for limited government, you can't possibly be for this. So then the guy says, well, no, but the good thing about this is it promotes party unity. And I'm thinking, all right, first of all, it's not the government's job to promote party unity. It's actually the party's job to promote party unity. That's actually, and so I was like, okay, yet another Republican who wants somebody else to do the dirty work for them instead of actually trying to embrace people and pull people into their party the way Trump did, the way Trump worked so hard to get people invigorated for the Republican Party. President Trump was the best thing that happened to the Republican Party in decades, since Ronald Reagan, where we had an entirely new coalition of voters who suddenly identified with the Republican Party, which was unheard of. If Hillary would have won, the Republican Party would have likely gone the way of the Whigs, and thank God for President Trump to save it. But he was the one who worked hard to promote party unity, even as the other people worked against him. So again, you can't pass a law that forces people to be put in a pen when it comes to voting. That's a terrible idea.
Jamie, I've got mixed emotions on it. I got to tell you, though, that I was at a Central Committee meeting, St. Louis County Central Committee meeting, where the issue was brought up, and the speaker got a great response. The party wants closed primaries. If I had to say, in general, I do believe the party wants that because, we've got Democrats coming over and muddying up the effort. Flat out. But I get where you're coming from. I absolutely do. So, I almost don't care. I really don't. Which way they go.
Here's the thing, though, Ben. I totally appreciate the fact that the party wants closed primaries, which is why I believe that the party, if it wants closed primaries, ought to decide on its own that it wants closed primaries. So why is the state deciding how parties operate elections or for any of that matter? I understand state regulation of campaign financing or whatever happens to be, which I still don't agree with anyway because I think it's a freedom of speech issue. But I understand that. But listen, if the Central Committee, for instance, and all the other committees decide that they want to close primary, they ought to have one. They ought to be able to have one. They shouldn't wait for the state to approve it, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, well, when the guy shows up to vote and he says, give me that Republican ballot, how do you hold him accountable? I'm more concerned, Jamie, with holding accountable elected Republicans who go against the platform, that go against others in the party who they should be supporting. Major point being President Trump. When we were campaigning before Trump got the nomination and after the nomination, and I say we, the grassroots, the people who are not identified with the establishment Republicans, the Republican Party was not there for the president. Now, many of them have come on board since in earnest. Some of them are faking it. But then you get, but you've got guys like Shamed Dogan endorsing the Libertarian candidate publicly. Hey, we got to do something about that guy. And as much
which one? The one for the governor's race or what?
County executive.
County executive.
Yeah, against Paul Berry.
Right.
So the Missouri Republican great black hope, Shamed Dogan, publicly endorsing the Libertarian candidate, white guy, against the black candidate, Paul Berry, for county executive. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't know what those guys got going on, but you'd think that within the party, locally, they could show a little more unity.
Looks like there's something personal there, I guess.
I'm thinking maybe so.
It can't be out of anything politically pure. I'll tell you that.
Well, politically pure. We're talking about Shamed Dogan, who caucuses as the vice chair with the Black Democrat Caucus of Missouri. What the hell's going on with this guy?
Who knows?
Let's find a primary for this guy. Come on.
I know. So the other thing though is so then a guy named Jim called in, and I thought this was a interesting position he took. Let's just say we get the state entirely out of all election processes, and he was saying, why is the state even involved in a party's primary? Why not just have a convention where everybody in the convention decides who the nominee is going to be? And now my concern was, at one point when I talked to him, I said, well, yeah, but then, of course, you might have the establishment that could dominate the whole thing, and then you can't get somebody else in. But I was saying, well, yeah, but if the grassroots are there, you just close that door of the convention hall, and you give Ben Murphy some boxing gloves and maybe a firearm, and you let the chips fall where they may, and fight for who it is. That'd be great. That's how the founding fathers did it.
Well, those delegates were elected. They went to Washington and they had a convention, and that's a fascinating idea.
Even like the gun part too, huh? I know.
Well, of course you're just kidding. And I don't know about boxing gloves. I'm probably past my prime.
Maybe
as a
I'm
boxer,
kidding. Maybe I'm not.
Sonny would clear the room. I'm just here to tell you right now, he's a bad dude.
You mean clear the room with a firearm?
With his, he's one of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners in the country.
Yeah, that's
he's
right.
Ranked.
So he could jiu-jitsu.
They go to the ground, it's over.
I'll bring Sonny with me.
Well, barring, but I'm just saying that could be a fascinating thing where, and then what happens is you could do it also. You could mix it in with like the naming of the Pope. So you could do that, and then you guys could have smoke come out of the convention hall chimney when you've decided who it is.
You brought up the Pope. Jamie, have you ever, well, I don't want to just totally
Wait a minute, don't you think that's a good idea?
No, a convention to
where forget the primary stuff, forget the state paying for and facilitating an election, but decide who the nominee is in a room. And you know what? And anybody can show up.
Room, maybe? No.
Yeah, who knows?
An open convention where delegates are elected. Well, that's a fascinating concept, Jamie. Don't think we'll ever see it, but that's pretty interesting. Yeah. I've got my issues and always have. With
I'll tell you one
Republican
thing: you wouldn't get a Josh. I think Josh Hawley's doing a great job, but we wouldn't have had the situation where the establishment just pulled levers to support. They'd have to actually be accountable within one room to everybody. They wouldn't be able to do this outside of that whole element there.
I'll tell you what, the establishment. They take heat. Many of them, we side with them 90% of the time, but on that 10% of the time, we don't. But the Josh Hawley thing, that panned out. Josh was going to be the nominee anyway. They called it early, and they forced the issue. They didn't need to do it the way they did it. But that's behind us now. And Josh is voting 100%, so you can't beat that.
Right on.
You can't beat it.
Yeah. But I would think, so what's your thing about the Pope?
Jamie, the Pope's right-hand man that runs the Vatican Bank, he just got sentenced to prison over in Australia.
Right.
You know, this whole pedophile ring deep within not only the Catholic Church at the highest levels, but also in Hollywood. That's all going to be flushed. If you believe the Q people, they're taking this group down. And when you look at the numbers of takedowns of pedophile rings over the Trump administration, and I can't cite them exactly, but there's never been anything like it. There's never been a roundup of these nefarious characters in the history of politics. So they're being rounded up. They're being drummed out, not only in the Catholic Church, it appears, but also in Hollywood.
Yeah, and also
the whole Podesta thing, you know, let's add those two clowns to the list of indictees, hopefully.
And also at the Southern Poverty Law Center, it's been enjoyable watching that whole operation implode under the guise of sexual harassment and racial harassment at the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Well, these people are all hypocrites. Always have been. Southern Poverty Law Center. Yeah, it's a big commie organization.
Yeah.
I hope they do go down.
Well, they will actually. This Morris Dees guy is as dirty as the day is long, and they've had everybody quitting at every level at this place, and there's all kinds of crazy allegations about this place, and yet at the same time they are always seen by the news media and cited by all these Democrat politicians, because what the Southern Poverty Law Center provided the media and the Democrat politicians was something to attack Republicans with. So, they just became a useful knife in the weaponry of the Democrats and the media.
Oh yeah, totally manufactured air of respectability and legitimacy, and they're a bunch of hypocrites, and they totally exist to push their communist agenda.
Man, what a racket that is! Can you imagine the people who came up with? How did they come up with such a weirdly named that you don't really know what that means? I don't even know what Southern Poverty Law Center means.
Well, that founder, he's not from the South either.
Right, exactly. But it's almost like it's Orwellian, because it just doesn't make any sense. So we'll see. All right, Ben. Well, thanks, man.
Jamie, thanks for having me. Hey, I want to throw out as well. Your listeners, the greatest listeners in St. Louis, two of them specifically, church ladies. At St. Nicholas, friends of mine at the church that I work with at St. Nicholas with our festival.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Carol Camburis mentioned to say hello.
Oh, yeah,
and she's looking forward to coming out and promoting our festival this summer with you.
Great. I'd love to have her on. Always did, yeah.
And Marianne Koch. Now, they don't know that name, but, man, does she love you, and she loves Trump, and I just wanted to say hello and thanks for listening.
Thank you, Marianne. I'll tell you what, she used to, it's Carol, right? Carol
Camburis.
Carol. She used to come in with Pete.
Yes,
sometimes.
oh yeah, you know, and we'll do a special something for Pete at the festival, because you know, the spokesman, the face of the festival for as long as I've known him, 30 years plus. And what a big loss, and what a shocker! You know, that was so unexpected to lose Peter Vaccaro.
And what a beautiful church that is! Wow,
and a lot of beautiful people.
Yeah, no doubt.
Do a lot of great works.
No doubt. I last was there. Well, I've been there for the Greek festival every once in a while, but I last was there when, and I feel embarrassed that I can't remember his last name, but he was the guy, the Crown Candy Kitchen guy. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know him personally, but I know who you're talking about.
His funeral was there, and I got a chance to look at all the frescoes, all the paintings inside the church and everything else.
Amazingly beautiful.
Just incredible. So that's Memorial Day, right? So
Labor Day.
Oh, Labor Day.
Now we've got the two Greek churches in St. Louis. You got the Assumption.
Yeah,
they do Memorial Day. We at St. Nicholas do Labor Day, and we've become identified as the St. Louis event on Labor Day. It's just gotten huge.
Oh, you know what? I'm confusing it with the one out in De Pere.
Yes, that's the Assumption.
That's Assumption.
Assumption Greek Orthodox.
So St. Nicholas, it's still downtown.
Forest Park, Kings Highway.
Right, exactly.
Oh, we closed the street now. We have for 3 or 4 years now.
Right.
And
Right.
we closed down the stretch in front of Forest Park. We give them a couple of lanes. They give us a couple of lanes. And we have a street festival. It's amazing.
I love it. Are you Greek?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I married the lovely Betsy Vazopoulos 42 years ago this July.
Wow.
And I just, this is, and I'll get into more of this if I spend time on the air and talk about this, but, Murphy. I'm an Irishman, of course.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I did my DNA test thing. As it turns, this blows my mind, but as it turns out, Jamie, I am 50+% Greek/Italian, Italian/Greek.
Really?
Yeah, what a strange story that is, and I'll save that one for another day. But we've been doing a lot of genealogy research on that one.
Well, as much as you are a conspiracy guy, I'm surprised you're not in on that one conspiracy about the people providing their DNA to these operations.
That's not a conspiracy. We're being, we are the product. So when you submit your DNA, that is being sold in mass to researchers, developers. God knows what they're doing with our building blocks.
And to people who are making robots that are going to just look just like you.
Oh, boy.
And come and stab you.
The pod people.
Yeah, right, exactly. All right, Ben Murphy,
Thanks,
always
Jamie.
good to see you. Your phone calls are welcome. Call Tammy.com. Real estate listener line is 844-855-1380. It's Common Sense Radio.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Imagine doing one thing that gives you an entirely different perspective about your place in the world. Think it would be worth it? Dennis Prager here inviting you to join me for a 10-day Stand with Israel tour, a tour through the land of Israel in December 2019. Come with me to get firsthand insight into Israel's fascinating past and promising future. Walk the ancient temple steps, sail on the Sea of Galilee, and so many more unforgettable moments. Return home inspired, renewed, and empowered. If you've ever dreamed of seeing Israel, this is your opportunity. With expert guides and important lectures at key sites, we'll be together in the comfort and safety of luxurious accommodations the whole time. Join me for a life-changing adventure to give you a renewed sense of purpose.
Join Dennis Prager and Mike Gallagher for an unforgettable guided tour through Israel this December 2nd through 11th. Book your trip now at theanswerstl.com.
Oh, yeah.
Rick Pogue here with Arrowhead Building Supply, the region's #1 specialty exterior building supplier. Arrowhead has the widest range of exterior products, from the most economical and commodity items to our highest-end outside elegance collection. If you need a contractor, Arrowhead supplies products to hundreds of the best contractors and builders in the business. Call us for a contractor referral and rest easy. The Arrowhead Cube Home Visualizer tool means you can upload an actual photo of your home and change it with just a touch of your finger. Now you can be 100% confident in your selections before they are installed in your home. Our product showrooms are the largest and most beautiful in the industry. We make it simple to experience a full range of siding, roofing, window, door, deck, and even stone options for your home or business. Check us out at arrowheadbuildingsupply.com or visit an Arrowhead showroom near you today in St. Peters, Missouri, Pee Wee, Missouri, and Fairview Heights, Illinois. Arrowhead Building Supply. Building supplies for building success. arrowheadbuildingsupply.com.
Hunter Douglas, where are you? Yes, you're in my hand, Hunter Douglas. Oh, what? What? You mean you have a shade in your hand, Allman? No, I do not. I have a little clicker here that I can use to lower the shade of my Hunter Douglas Proctor Drapery, Proctor spelled like Dr. Shade. And this is beautiful. It's the James Bond shade, as we call it. I know I've been talking a lot about this, but I don't get a chance to show it very often, so I want to make sure you could see it coming down the way it should be coming down with the push of a button. It is operated like you can operate a bunch of them all together, or you can do just one, whatever it happens to be. You can have them in your office. But it's the motorized shade from Hunter Douglas, exclusively delivered by my buddy Michael Proctor, Proctor spelled like Doctor, ProctorDrapery.com. And Michael is a great value to you, whether it be the Hunter Douglas motorized shades or whether it be the side side panels, or whether it be the Norman shutters, the plantation shutters, he comes at you with a great deal. He comes at you 7 days a week, and he comes to you in his mobile design unit, which means basically that you don't have to go anywhere, and that he will come and go ahead and be your interior designer. And if you don't like what you see in there, he will then go ahead and go back out to the mobile design unit and grab something else. No matter what you have in store and in mind for your home, to beautify your home, transform the beautiful look of your home, Michael Proctor has it for you. And again, he's available 7 days a week. So if you need him on a Sunday, he's ready to rock and roll. And if you need him on a Saturday, he's ready to rock and roll. And nobody beats him in value, price, quality of all the things he has to offer you. And also, by the way, keep an eye out for the billboards, because we just got the billboards going. Michael's going to put billboards up that promote not only Proctor Drapery, but also the Allman in the Morning show. So my picture's going to be alongside Michael Proctor. Proctor spelled like doctor, proctordrapery.com.
Joe Walsh explains what Mueller was supposed to do.
He had a very narrow charge. Our democracy was attacked. Find out, Bob Mueller,
exactly what Russia did,
and as best as you can, find out if anybody in America helped Russia. That was all Robert Mueller was charged with looking at.
The Joe Walsh radio program, weeknights at 8 on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Breaking news. Stability Talk.
Hey folks, Jamie Allman here for MyPillow, and the MyPillow Giza sheet, which is just beautiful. And if you've ever been to, well, you probably have been to a hotel, obviously. If you've been to a hotel and you said, they go, why is these beds are always so comfortable, and I can't kind of get this at my home? You can. If you just go ahead and use the promo code Jamie when you dial 800-964-3187, 964-3187, and then you are able, ladies and gentlemen, to go ahead and get 30% off the Giza Dream Sheets, brought to you by MyPillow. MyPillow.com/Jamie is the promo code there on the web as well. Also, if you are in the market for the pillows, I've been an avid customer of MyPillow for a while now. You go ahead and get a 4-pack of pillows, and you're getting the 2 regular MyPillows, and then you're getting 2 to-go pillows. You can take anywhere you want to, wherever you travel. Even if you go to that hotel and it doesn't have the MyPillow, you can have the MyPillow wherever you are laying your lovely head. And also, you're going to get free shipping with that as well, using the promo code Jamie. 800-964-3187, promo code Jamie.
Larry Elder, tonight at 5. Now, back to Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Coming up, we are going to have Max Foisey, Max on Movies. We're going to talk about the movie Dumbo, which is all the rage these days. And Disney has essentially remade Dumbo into a major motion picture feature film. So Max is going to be reviewing that. Plus, I'm going to get you caught up on a couple other real quick things before we get to that, so we can run down what's going on with Google, the recent revelations that they have a white privilege diversity training program. Turns out that all these people who talked about how Google is secretly doing this and secretly doing that suddenly realize, you know what? Those people aren't too far off base with what Google is up to. We'll follow up on that, too. It's Common Sense Radio.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. The Border Patrol says people crossing into the U.S. illegally on the southern border coming from all over the world, countries including China, Pakistan, Egypt, and Iraq. President Trump says there is a crisis on the border, and that's why the administration is moving ahead with construction of the wall. The Mexican Interior Minister says another migrant caravan is now forming in Central America, and the collusion delusion, President Trump's term for the Russia investigation, which Mr. Trump calls the greatest hoax in the history of our country. Authorities in Walterboro, South Carolina, investigating the death of a 10-year-old girl knocked unconscious during a fight with another fifth grader at her elementary school. Wall Street, the Dow up 135 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
I'm Bonnie Green with traffic. Well, we can pretty much put this rush hour to bed. 270 northbound does hold on to us Slight delay, Big Bend to Manchester. We have the flood warning along the Mississippi River continuing until further notice. And flooding still has 67 southbound closed in Alton between the Clark Bridge and 94. As a result, the two northbound lanes are split into one northbound and one southbound. And your midday road work again today, 9 to 3, is on eastbound and westbound 44 between Grand and 70. Traffic is sponsored by Dell. Dell's small business technology advisors know there's nothing small about your business. That's why they offer one-on-one partnership and reliable business PCs with Intel Core processors to help you get business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL. That's 877-BUY-DELL. Making your morning commute smoother. Praise 95.1, the St. Louis Gospel Experience.
1380, The Answer. Weather.
Cloudy skies today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. We'll have a high of 62. We'll have rain and a thunderstorm tonight with a low of 45. Cloudy skies tomorrow and breezy with a little rain, the high 47. Clear to partly cloudy and chilly tomorrow night. There will be a freeze with a low of 31. Plenty of sunshine to wrap up the weekend on Sunday, but it will be chilly with a high of 48. I'm Drew Shannon with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
Communication is the key to building any business. 1380 AM and 105.3 FM, The Answer, can be your communication key. The microphone that voices your business message from the stage of your own radio show, defining you as the expert in your line of work. The stage that brings your brand to a solid awareness, place, and position in the vast community of customers listening here in St. Louis. The broadcast professionals here will help your show develop, building you, your company, and your customer base with and through an affordable on-air and online media distribution. Get to theanswerstl.com. Click Contact Us. Theanswerstl.com. Contact us. Do so and then look for a call from sales manager Lori Vernier. Then build your business with your very own radio show on 1380 AM and 105.3 FM, The Answer.
This hour of Allman in the Morning is brought to you in part by Dr. Anna Smith, the #1 provider of oral sleep appliances in the United States. Learn more at cpapsucks.com.
Hey, don't just listen to Allman in the Morning. See the show at theanswerstl.com. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
My daddy told me, looking back, the best friend you have is a railroad track. So when I was 13, I said I'm rolling my own, and I'm leaving Missouri, and I'm never coming home. Bottom of the world, I'm hanged up to the bishop in the barbershop line. I'm lost at the bottom of the world.
You know, for some people,
satchel pudding.
Some people, Tom Waits is a acquired taste. You know.
Sitting by the fire
But I love him, man.
You like Tom Waits?
I should get into him. I failed on that, but I'm trying to. But he's an acquired taste, that's for sure. I like this song, whatever this is.
It's called Bottom of the World. It's from a CD called Orphans. He's got some really good stuff out there, man.
It's lyrics, man. You know, like
it's definitely lyrics. He's kind of the Laurie Anderson, the male Laurie Anderson. It's all about his art. He's kind of when he does his concerts, it's a lot of performance art.
You seen him?
I have not seen his concerts, no, but I know of his concerts. You know, I've seen him on performing on TV and stuff. Funny guy though.
Is he?
Yeah, he's got. He does like weird instrumentation and stuff. Here, give me some volume on that, buddy. Turn it down. From Frank's wild years. called Hang On St. Christopher. Hang on St. Christopher. Singing through, megaphones and stuff,
That's pretty cool, man.
Got an 85 Camry on an 85 hill. Hang on St. Christopher on the
He's got his voice got more gravelly as his age went on and his whiskey drinking got
the whiskey, yeah.
more.
I was going to say the notes.
But this is his other one that the Bruce Springsteen did a rendition of this that's really good. Of course, Springsteen
people cover
Jersey
stuff like that level.
They covered Jersey Girl right here, man. This is a great one. He's got a lot of really nice love tunes going on for him. This is actually a 1980 album's called Heartbreak and Vine, so that was when he was doing more regular stuff, Called Jersey Girl. It's good.
Had no time for the corner boys down in the street making all that noise.
Sounds Bruce-like.
On 8th Avenue. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna be with you. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna take that ride. Cross the river to the Jersey side.
Of course, when Springsteen sings this, his entire crowd just goes crazy. Take you on all the rides, baby.
And I'll take you all over the rides. Down the shore, everything's alright.
Come on, man.
That's deep.
Yeah.
You and your baby on a Saturday night, yeah.
Because he goes all the way back to 1973. A song called Grapefruit Moon.
Is he a piano player?
Oh, yeah.
No kidding.
He also plays the accordion, by the way, just so you know.
Right.
Okay, against the backdrop of Grapefruit Moon.
Grapefruit Moon. I like that.
Grapefruit Moon.
One star shining.
Who's that?
Shining
That's him.
down on me.
It's 1973, though, man. It's like just starting out. He's like 22.
Heard that tune. Now I'm
Okay, against the backdrop of this is kind of our art segment,
Right.
Our cultural segment.
It is.
This way I can tell you all about the Best of Enemies movie coming out on April 5th. These tickets, and Maxie, by the way, the tickets are they're free. You just have to sign up for them, right?
That's exactly right.
This is really an amazing story. I was so shocked that this was actually based on a true story because I'd never heard of the story before. You'd think you would have, but unfortunately, though, in this day and age, people aren't interested in telling you about good news. They want to keep that strife going, so you don't hear about these great stories that, like this one, where you had this activist, Ann Atwater, who was a civil rights activist, a black woman, who wound up teaming up with a Klan leader named C.P. Ellis. They co-chaired a community summit on desegregation in Durham, North Carolina. This was in this racially charged summer of 1971, and this movie is all about that. These are all highfalutin actors here too. So you've got the Academy Award nominee Taraji Henson as Anne, and then you have also the Academy Award winner Sam Rockwell as C.P. Ellis. It's a great movie, and it really will tell you a lot about how, yes, it is possible to overcome racial divides and overcome any kind of divide for that matter. If you can get these two people together, you can do anything. But it's amazing, really, honestly, that I'd never heard of this story before. And I'm not quite, and if you have, more power to you, but I had never even imagined, because every time you talk about racial issues, you always are presented with just these two extreme sides and nobody really converging and coming together to solve problems. And so this was a great example of that happening. The Best of Enemies. It is in theaters on April 5th. And so you can check it out. You can get a hold of us at theanswerstl.com and hook up with some tickets for it as well. So just to make sure you know that this is a fantastic movie, and it's going to make you feel good when you come out of the theater. And also educate you as well on a little piece of history that a lot of people don't know about. Speaking of history, Max on movies, let me tell you something, Max. When I seemingly remember a short presentation that Disney had, and it was like the tapes, like Ethan and Katie watched it. It was Dumbo, but it was like a 30-minute bit. I can't remember exactly what, and the book and everything else. And boy, it was dark, man.
Yes, I mean, Dumbo's a very sad story. It's that original 1940s cartoon is actually the shortest of all of the Disney animated classics. It's just over 1 hour, but it is packed with so much emotion. We all remember, Mama Jumbo being separated from her baby and singing the song "Baby Mine," which went on to become sort of a cult classic. And it's a really, really sad movie. And then you got the standard Disney dangers of the mice and the crows and the pink elephants hallucination because young Dumbo gets drunk. I mean, all kinds of stuff you're not going to do in a movie from 2019, and they don't.
So they don't include that in the new. I just saw a little bit of a trailer of it. It looked interesting.
Yeah, they do include pink elephants in a way, but young Dumbo does not get drunk in this version. This is my hats go off to the major corporation that is Disney. You might even want to call them their own empire because they stumbled on something that is just ingenious as far as a way for them to print money. First of all, Walt laid all the groundwork back in the 30s and 40s because he took these public domain stories, these French fairy tales like Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast, and then of course the Grimm fairy tales, and then Alice in Wonderland, and these were all public domain stuff. And he put enough new elements in them, like the songs and new characters, that he was able to copyright them. And then 50 years later, 60 years later, they say let's do a live action version of Cinderella or Beauty and the Beast. And these are not live action versions of those old fairy tales; they're live action versions of their own animated versions. So they don't have to pay anybody. They just keep raking in the money. Now, the nice thing is about audiences here, or for audiences, is most of them have been great. There was the Glenn Close 101 Dalmatians back in the 90s. That was really good. You had the Robin Williams Flubber back in the 90s. And more recently, you had the Beauty and the Beast with Emma Watson. You've got the Jungle Book that Jon Favreau did with all the photorealistic animals. Audiences love these things. Later on this year, you've got The Lion King coming out. You've got Aladdin with Will Smith as the genie. And on paper, I was looking forward to Dumbo because I like that original movie, and I like Tim Burton, the director. He gets a lot of flack for being so visually minded, but I like his stuff. And I thought this is a good marriage for him because Dumbo is a story about outcasts and circus, and it's a kind of sad. And I thought it's perfect for Tim Burton. But I think the problem with this, and the reason why I can't recommend it, and the reason why I don't think it's going to do very well, Jamie, after this weekend, parents will take their kids because it's Dumbo, but I don't think it'll have legs or a trunk, if you will, because the word of mouth is going to be poor on this. And it's because that original movie, it's only about an hour long. This movie, it doubles that length. And that wouldn't be a problem if you didn't have the huge issue with the film, and that is they decided not to have the animals talk. Now, in the live-action Jungle Book that came out a couple years ago, all the animals talked. You had Bill Murray as Baloo the bear.
Yeah.
Idris Elba was Shere Khan. It was really cool. Well, in this movie, they decide to not have any of the animals talk, so they have to put the emphasis on humans. And I don't care how big of a Disney fan you are, nobody is going to pay $10 to see Dumbo and then be excited to watch Colin Farrell and Eva Green and Michael Keaton. I mean, those are fine actors, but that's not why you're going to see the movie, right? You want to see the Dumbo. You want to make the story about him. And instead, with the animals not talking, you get robbed of key emotional moments. Like, for instance, Mama Jumbo singing Baby Mine to her son as they're being ripped apart doesn't happen in this movie because the elephants don't talk. So you've got a random circus performer singing Baby Mine on the ukulele. It makes no sense. There's no emotional connection. And you spend way too much time with action set pieces and chase scenes with the humans towards the end. So this was a huge letdown for me. And I think it might be not a flop for Disney, but I don't think it's going to do very well.
So is it a kids movie then, or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's it's only PG, but there was a little kid there, I would say 5 or 6, who really lost it and started bawling her eyes out. And I get it because it's a sad movie. So maybe if you have really little kids, just watch the original animated version.
Yeah, and plus there's only a little bit of Danny DeVito goes a long way too.
And there's a lot of him.
Yeah,
there's a lot of him in this movie. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
there
probably
is.
a perfect role for him as the carnival barker, but still, it's just kind of interesting. So I'm trying to figure out though, because Disney sometimes will do these movies, and here you have really all the elements of what could be a great movie, because you have Tim Burton, and you have the actor slate there is strong and everything else. And you're trying to figure out, like, why did you do this one? Why?
I think it comes down to the screenwriter, Aaron Kruger, his decision to not have the animals talk. You don't have Timothy Mouse, you don't have the crows, who I know are not politically correct these days, but taking that out and making it about Colin Farrell being a dad of these 2 young kids who lost their mom, and he's trying to protect them from the evil force. Nobody cares about that. You're there to see an elephant fly.
Yeah, right.
And also to be even more nitpicky, and I can imagine that Phil is rolling his eyes right now at me, but the CGI version of Dumbo is simply not very cute. And I know it's personal preference, but that original Dumbo is pretty darn cute.
Oh, yeah,
and the new Dumbo is not something that a kid is going to want a plush stuffed animal of. So again, I think this is a pretty big misfire from Disney. But don't be too sad, Jamie, because it's Disney and they'll be just fine.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of a trailer of Disney, and Dumbo looks like he's just covered in carpeting. It just is really a weird kind of look for that thing.
Yeah, it is. If I could, though, go back really quick to your Tom Waits highlights there.
Yeah.
My wife and I were fortunate enough to get tickets to his Glitter and Doom tour when he hit the Fox Theater about a decade ago. He only tours like once every 15 years.
Yeah.
And we got a chance to watch that show, and she still says it was the best concert she ever saw in her entire life. I mean, it really was an incredible, as you say, a performance art kind of evening, and it was just wonderful stuff.
Yeah, he's really good at what he does. I mean, I've just seen him perform on TV or on a video or something. But yeah, I would have loved to have. I should have seen that then, because
it was a tough ticket, and I was really surprised that we got in. And the funny thing was, most of the show is that gravel voice, train conductor kind of weirdness. But for the encore, he came out. I mean, he can still sing. He still has that early crooners. He came out and did a couple sort of lullaby songs that were just gorgeous, and it was really cool to hear that after all of the weirdness early on.
Yeah, I think his son performs with him too, right? I think
maybe.
I thought his son was I think his son performs with him, which is kind of cool too, because he's really kind of an interesting guy. He doesn't, he's one of those guys that just. He's like Laurie Anderson. He's like these other folks. He just is out there doing his art, and I've never faulted anybody for using their platform for their opinion. I'm not one of those shut up and sing guys, but I just love the fact that he's just purely almost solely focused on his artistic endeavors, and you don't see him tweeting about stuff. You don't see him doing this and then. He just kind of does what he does. He does what does Tom Waits,
Yeah, he's one of those guys. I have no idea if he likes the color blue or if he likes hamburgers.
Yeah, right.
But he's this amazing creative person. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
Wow, that's cool. You got to see him. Yeah, and
it's great.
About Dumbo, Disney is interesting because I really like. I mean, Disney is challenging, and like I know the Lion King, for instance. I'll never forget watching that with when Ethan was a little boy, and there was a while there where Ethan wouldn't let go of me after watching the Lion King because of course Dad died and everything else. But Disney has always been able to kind of seemingly traverse that balance of darkness as well as a level of entertainment and levity. Like Pinocchio is a great example of that. Pinocchio, the kids used to watch that, but for some reason I turned it on for Aiden, and the minute Pinocchio caught fire, on Geppetto's workbench, I had to turn it off. But they managed to still tell these stories, although a couple of times they miss. And the one I can think of is the one about that. What was the environmental robot one? What was that one? Remember that guy?
Environmental robot. You're talking about Wall-E?
Wall-E, yeah.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, that was over on the Pixar division.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, not Disney proper. So.
Okay. Well, I was just
also, I thought I was the only person who hated the movie Wall-E.
Oh, no.
But if you also dislike it, that's fantastic.
Oh, I wanted to stick my head in an oven after watching that thing. I can't imagine what the kids wanted.
It was an insufferable, preachy movie that I could not stand.
It was. And to your point, it was interesting you pointed out, like, none of the kids are going to pick up a Dumbo doll. That was the same thing I said at the time that Wall-E came out. I was like, I guarantee you there's not one kid who's going to want to have a Wall-E toy. Or a Wall-E shirt or whatever, you know.
All the people I know who love Wall-E are all the sort of the avocado toast hipsters, who are like 25 who think Wall-E's the greatest thing in the world. But you're right, man. Not a single. It's such a boring movie too. For the first hour, nothing happens.
It really is boring.
I can't stand that movie.
Yeah, and obviously, and Wall-E doesn't talk. There was something. No. And some of the visuals were interesting, like some of the old TVs, and but yeah, it was dark, man. All right, so Dumbo at a theater near you, and Max on Movies, buddy. Do you put these? Okay, so you have a blog, right?
I do, yeah. If you go to the Max on Movies Twitter, which is just at Max on Movies, there's all kinds of links there, and I record interviews with people and do reviews. You can find them all there. You can listen to me from now till Timbuktu. It's
awesome.
A lot of stuff there.
So your review is already posted and all that stuff, I guess, or will be.
Absolutely.
Okay, brother. Thanks a ton.
All right.
Your phone calls are welcome. Call Tammy.com. Real estate listener line is 844-855-1380.
Live from the Arrowhead Building Supply Studio, this is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Rick Pogue here with Arrowhead Building Supply, the region's #1 specialty exterior building supplier. Arrowhead has the widest range of exterior products, from the most economical and commodity items to our highest-end outside elegance collection. If you need a contractor, Arrowhead supplies products to hundreds of the best contractors and builders in the business. Call us for a contractor referral and rest easy. The Arrowhead Cube Home Visualizer tool means you can upload an actual photo of your home and change it with just a touch of your finger. Now you can be 100% confident in your selections before they are installed in your home. Our product showrooms are the largest and most beautiful in the industry. We make it simple to experience a full range of siding, roofing, window, door, deck, and even stone options for your home or business. Check us out at arrowheadbuildingsupply.com or visit an Arrowhead showroom near you today in St. Peters, Missouri, Peebly, Missouri, and Fairview Heights, Illinois. Arrowhead Building Supply. Building supplies for building success. arrowheadbuildingsupply.com.
One of the customers of Arrowhead Building Supply would be my folks over at Banner Construction, Bill and Sam. And, man, I am so happy to have them back in the Allman in the Morning fold. They have been supporters of mine upwards of 15 years now, going on 15 years now. And I love these guys. I love the fact that not only they're supportive of me, but they're also a go-to company. When I ask you to call Banner at 569-1050 or go to bannerconstruction.com, I am confident as the day is long, because I'm a customer too, that they're going to serve you well, give you only the best prices when it comes to the James Hardie fiber cement siding, when it comes to the vinyl siding, when it comes to the wood windows. You're not going to get any better service, any better quality, and any better pricing from Banner Construction. Two things you need to know about. First of all, today is the final day. March 30th is the day. So tomorrow is your last chance to get in while the getting is good on last year's pricing. So obviously, as the year goes on, the price of materials, all that kind of stuff, increases naturally in the industry, but they still have their prices from 2018 going for you, and that is a winner on down the line, especially when it comes to the James Hardie fiber cement siding. What a great investment, but when you can get last year's pricing on it, it is an absolute no-brainer. They also have this really cool home visualizer tool, so you can see actually what the James Hardie is going to look like on your home in 3D before you actually make the investment. Vinyl, roofing, windows, no matter what, you can actually see what it's all going to look like at bannerconstruction.com. Call Banner and have a banner day, 314-569-1050.
KXFN St. Louis, K287BY St. Louis.
Portions of Allman in the Morning, sponsored by STX Entertainment.
Curtains, shades, blinds, shutters. What are the best for living rooms or bedrooms? Hey, it's Allman from Allman in the Morning. I want to tell you about the quality customized service you will receive when you call my friend Michael Proctor at Proctor Drapery. Michael is an interior designer with exceptional expertise when it comes to window treatments for your home or business. Michael has served our St. Louis area since 1974 with the highest quality and value for custom drapery, blinds, shades, and shutters. He's also the top-tier Hunter Douglas priority dealer and your first choice for Norman Plantation shutters. Those are beautiful. Call Michael Proctor today and schedule your in-home consultation with Michael's mobile design unit. He will come to you. Weekend and evening appointments are available. The one-on-one appointment with Michael will ensure the look is exactly what you're looking for in your home or business. So cut down on the risk of error. Schedule your appointment today with Michael Proctor. Proctor spelled like doctor, proctordrapery.com.
Joe Walsh, tonight at 8. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Happy Friday, everybody, as we wind up the Allman in the Morning show. Man, I didn't hit half the stuff I wanted to hit. I had too much going on. I guess it's always better to leave some things on the cutting room floor, but not for me. I want to cram it all in. There was an interesting piece. I guess I might put it up on the Facebook page or something, and it was a whole breakdown of the trend towards getting away from homework. And it's called the cult of homework, where there's been this thing in our schools that is like the people are addicted to just piling homework on kids, when there's a new thinking in the realm of education that maybe it's better to give kids a small amount of homework and encourage them to use whatever time they have home from school or whatever to interact with their family and be more along those lines. So that's an interesting bit I wanted to get to. Maybe I'll talk about it Monday and take your phone calls on it. I want to definitely get to this nut job, this Puerto Rico governor on President Trump. Of course, Jim Acosta is interviewing him, so you get what you pay for here. Check it out.
If the bully gets close, I'll punch the bully in the mouth.
Just like that.
Just like that. I don't. It would be a mistake to confuse courtesy with courage.
So that's Jim Acosta, who's enjoying a guy threatening to punch the president in the mouth if he gets around him. And here's Acosta, who the minute anybody says CNN sucks, he goes crying to Don Lemon. Interesting, weird thing with the news media, but I think finally this week has been a good week for exposing the news media for what it is, and that is just simply absolutely corrupt. And I think the media, mainstream media, has finally kind of seen its day. Things have finally caught up with these guys, and that's good to know. Folks, thanks a ton for listening to Allman in the Morning, Common Sense Radio here on The Answer, theanswerstl.com. Have a great weekend, everybody.